Well, I hope he watched John Smoltz very closely last night, because that is a good pattern for all the pitchers to follow. You can make an argument that Jorge Sosa was one of the 3 MVPs on the ball club. If you check the numbers, they'll make that argument for you. A 255 earned run average, and he did it the hard way. He was in and out of more jams than Mrs. Schmucker, but he always had the right pitch to get him out of that jam. This year it's been a little bit different. I wonder if the time away for the World Baseball Classic might have hurt him a little bit. But right now what he's trying to do is be consistent with his breaking stuff, pitch ahead in the count. It's been the same scenario repeating itself. Behind in the count, walk a couple of guys, and boom, here's one down the middle. And I think what they need out of him Smoltz gave you a good start last night. Now you need the guys who follow in behind him to pick up their load too, and that would be a great bonus for the Braves for this homestand.
It's an important homestand indeed, and it's off to a very good start. We'll see if Jorge Sosa can turn some magic in tonight in Game 2 of this series with the Nationals. Let's send it now to our pal Mark Fine, who's standing by here in our Atlanta studios. Mark?
Thanks very much, Chip, and welcome back.
A large and enthusiastic crowd gathering on a beautiful night here in Atlanta, Game 2 of the series. Braves have made their way out on the field. Let's check out the defense. Todd Pratt, Jorge Sosa up the middle there. Then Chipper Jones, Edgar Renteria. Left side, right side of the infield, Giles and Brian Jordan. In the outfield, Jeff Francoeur will patrol right, joined in center by Andrew Jones, and getting the start in left field again, the red-hot Matt Diaz. The Nationals have juggled their lineup a little bit. Let's check it out. Soriano to lead off, Vidro to follow, Nick Johnson in the third spot. Jose Guillen will back cleanup. It's going to be Ryan Church in center field, followed by Ryan Zimmerman, a big home run last night for him. Matt LaCroix again catching. Royce Clayton at shortstop will hit 8, and young Michael O'Connor will bat in the 9th spot. Here's a look at Jorge Sosa. We were talking about him in our open. No doubt about his stuff. If you ask scouts who have watched the Braves pitchers, they say as far as pure stuff, velocity, movement, action on the pitch, he may have the best. But occasionally he gets it up in the strike zone. Occasionally he pitches behind in the count. That's resulted in that this year. But he's a much better pitcher with that. Umpires have moved 90 feet to their left. Let's check them out. The veteran John Hirschbeck, he's a good one. Good guy, good umpire, 23 years in the bigs, joined by Wally Bell, Mark Carlson, and C.B. Bucknor. Well, I think the first inning, Chip, is a very important one for Jorge Sosa. That's been the inning that's gotten him behind the 8 ball. And I think the veteran Todd Pratt behind the plate should be a nice stabilizing effect. Let's see how the first inning goes.
And let's see if they can keep Soriano under control. The Braves have done that of late. And a line drive starts the game to left field for Soriano. Reached out, hooked it in left field, and that's the way the ball game starts. Soriano 1 for 4 in the game last night. Entered play tonight with 4 hits in his last 31 at-bats. So immediately Sosa to the stretch tonight.
Well, that's one of those double-edged swords. You've been having trouble throwing strikes, so you want to get ahead, and you try to get ahead with a guy who likes to hit the first pitch.
And here's Jose Vidro, another guy that can put the bat on the ball. Vidro hitting .333. He was hitless last night. Sosa 0-5 on the year. Last time he pitched was out of the bullpen for the Braves. Gave up an unearned run in an inning and 2/3. Last time out as a starter, a no decision against the Colorado Rockies. He's been skipped a couple of times in the rotation because of weather and off days and travel. So let's see how sharp he can be on long rest tonight.
Well, he throws without any energy and effort, a middle 90s. Last year we talked about his getting in and out of jams. I think the league hit about 240 against him overall. But with men on base, they hit 199. With men in scoring position, 194. It's more than twice that in both categories this year.
So was it luck, or was it pitching with pluck for Sosa last year?
I think it was the latter of that. He made great pitches when he got in a jam. The pitches may not have been that great to get him in a jam, but he just didn't make mistakes when there were runners on base. Everything was on the corner. Everything was diving and sliding. It was just excellent action on his pitches.
Nationals have hit into 29 double plays this year, with Vidro tied with Jose Guillen for team high honors with 5. Let's see if Sosa can get the ball on the ground here in the first inning tonight.
Well, you're probably not going to strike him out. Vidro doesn't do that very often.
Popped up and out of play to us. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jose Vidro. Lots of leg and knee problems for Vidro the last couple of years, but in his younger days, one of the elite second basemen in the National League. But the hindrance for Vidro was playing before sparse crowds in Montreal.
And playing on that hard, bad, ridiculous turf in Montreal.
Switch hitter down a 1-2 count now. Big hole right side. Soriano doesn't go, and it's a fly ball to left. Can of corn for Matt Diaz getting the start tonight with a left-hander on the mound, and there's your first out. Vidro pops up. Here's first baseman Nick Johnson.
This guy's a good hitter. I was reading in some of the Washington papers that there is either a little actual or implied pressure for him to hit with a little more power. And I'd put him in the same category as a guy you know well, Mark Grace,
Sure.
Hal Morris, Sean Casey. Guys who can turn on a ball if they want to, but they're more comfortable getting on base any way they can. He has an exceptional on-base percentage.
He hit 15 home runs for Washington last year. He's got 10 this year. And the hit and run on Johnson fouled a pitch back and wishes he hadn't swung at all, for Soriano had a monstrous jump.
I'll bet you that wasn't the hit and run. I think it was just a straight steal. And here's the jump you mentioned. Oh, he way out there. Boom, boom, 3.5 steps before Sosa's front foot ever hit the ground. I'll bet you that was a straight steal, and Johnson just saw a pitch up that he liked.
So no harm done for Sosa. Let's see if he pays closer attention to Soriano, who again has a gigantic lead. He is 6 of 9 this year in stolen bases.
They run a lot, but they get caught a lot.
Pratt has yet to throw out a man trying to steal. Let's see what happens here in the first. Johnson went around. Good call, C.B. Buckner. It's a 2-strike count. You mentioned the on-base percentage of Nick Johnson. .430. 23 strikeouts, 23 walks, 42 hits, and 132 at-bats.
And he uses the whole field. As a matter of fact, this year leads the National League in off-field hits. He's hit 18 to the left side of the diamond.
Braves are coming in, and Sosa got it there. Johnson will stay alive here.
You remember over the winter, the Nationals made some changes in their coaching staff. One of the guys that let go was Tom McCraw. But when you talk to Nick Johnson, he gives so much credit to Tom McCraw for the time he spent with him, for working with him on plate discipline, how to open up the hips to generate a little more power. And Tom McCraw is probably responsible for his being able to hit more homers than he did when he joined the Washington Ball Club.
Again, the first. And as you see Johnson take his stance, opening up those hips, as you're talking about, slightly open batting stance. And even if he's fooled, he's smart enough, as we've shown, to hit the ball the other way, not try to pull it and roll over the top.
Now, this is the stance of the 2000s, more open stance. It used to be guys were more closed back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Got him swinging. Good pitch from Sosa. Tied up Nick Johnson for out number 2.
Check this out on our pitch track. A fastball that he wants to come in on him, but he gets good movement out away. That's a strike any way you cut it. Good velocity, good action, and in a spot where there aren't a whole lot of people playing in any league who can handle letter high inside corner pitches.
So Soriano still stuck at first with 2 outs now for Jose Guillen, who was hitless last night. And Guillen hitting just .235 and only 5 home runs for the Nationals. Somewhat surprising.
That number won't be that low as the year goes along. He's already expressing some interest, though, in the Washington papers about wanting a contract extension. I think you do yourself an injustice. Even if you think it, you feel it, and you want it, you're better off not saying it. You put a little extra gun to your head, don't you?
You might want to make sure that the new owner is happy and the ink is dry on the ownership papers before you start talking about that. And Mr. Lerner is in town with Stan Kasten. They have not yet been approved by Major League Baseball. And Jim Bowden, the general manager for now, still here with the Washington club. That's another interesting decision that the Nationals will have to make. Will Jim Bowden remain in that capacity for the rest of this year and beyond, or once new ownership officially takes over, will the Lerners and Stan Kasten bring in their own front office people?
quality family, the Lerner family. They're class individuals. And Stan, I understand, rumor has it, is going to take, remember Bob Wolf was one of his lieutenants here. And they were spending some time together. But Stan's a great point guard to that organization. He's done it in a couple of sports, done it well here. He'll do a good job there.
A little flare left center field. Diaz broke back, coming on hard, running catch, and Sosa out of the top of the first.
Made their way out on the field. Let's check out the defense for Frank Robinson. Matt LaCroix behind the plate. He'll be catching Michael O'Connor. Joined in the infield by a good-looking youngster, Ryan Zimmerman, the veteran Royce Clayton. Over on the right side, Jose Vidro and Nick Johnson. In the outfield, it's Guillen and right. It's Ryan Church getting the start in center, joined by former second baseman, now left fielder, Alfonso Soriano. Here's the batting order for Bobby Cox. The regular one, Giles Renteria Jones, Francoeur, Brian Jordan over at first. Red hot over the last week. Diaz, Pratt, and Sosa will be 7, 8, and 9. Here's a look at their young left-hander. O'Connor, born in Dallas, Texas. His first 2.5 years in pro ball, he was a reliever. All of a sudden, a couple of years ago, they said, let's start him, and it's worked well. He has a herky-jerky motion, changes speeds, not going to light up the radar gun, but knows how to pitch.
And you can tell a big, tall, angular kid, too. All elbows and kneecaps.
6'3", 170 pounds. Had to take a few loops off of his pants there. There were too many.
Giles in there tonight. And the leadoff spot. Ball and a strike to him. 2 for 5 was he last night. Good to see Marcus on base a time or two in the Braves 6-2 win last night.
I have a feeling that O'Connor would be a challenge for Randy St. Clair because of the very animated delivery. Starts spread out over on the third base side. His momentum starts toward the Braves on deck circle, then back to the plate.
And Giles looks that one low. 3 balls and a strike.
There's one word everybody you talk to about Mike O'Connor that keeps popping into the conversation, and that word is composure. Remarkable composure for a youngster his age.
Little dribbler toward Royce Clayton at short. And Edgar Renteria coming up. Edgar's got that batting average up to .345 on the year. That's third best in the National League. And 1 for 4 last night. Edgar also this year has just worn out left-handed pitching. Let's see if that continues in the middle game of this series in Atlanta tonight. Took a strike as he showed bunt. That brought Zimmerman in a couple of steps at third.
Sometimes you'll see a veteran hitter do that, and what he wants to do is take a look at that first pitch. See the action, see the movement. You know, you've seen video, you've read scouting reports, but till you see a new pitcher firsthand, you really don't know what it's going to do.
Right back through the middle. Edgar Renteria continues his 400+ hitting against lefties, and he's aboard in front of Chipper Jones here in our first inning. Busy night for you tonight on a gorgeous Saturday in Atlanta. And coming up in the third inning, we'll have our Sonic All Access Part 1. Mike Hampton coming back from Tommy John surgery. We'll have parts 1 and 2 in the third and sixth inning tonight. And then in the seventh inning, our ever popular Sonic Fans Extra. Mike Hampton not the only Brave rehabbing. John Foster throwing off the mound, did that yesterday. And Horacio Ramirez and Kelly Johnson both playing in Rome, Georgia tonight in a Class A rehab stint.
Wonder if going up to Rome to play you get mileage. You can't get per diem. You don't get a plane ticket.
Maybe you get a toga.
To what?
A toga.
1001, 1002. I get it.
Oh, that's all right. Chipper with a couple of homers, 14 driven in. Let's jump on this guy early tonight.
Well, that's happened a lot. He's allowed 7 runs, and 5 of the 7 have come in the first inning. So you're thinking along with the rest of the National League.
O'Connor filling in for John Patterson, who's out with an arm problem. That's a big loss for the Nationals. Patterson, one of the electric young right-handers in the game. Renteria, huge jump, and Chipper wisely took it.
Maury Wills used to always say, now the normal thought process is left-handers are harder to steal against than right-handers. Maury Wills has always said left-handers are easier because they show you everything they're going to do. There's no hidden agenda. And one of those where O'Connor, just as soon as he looked toward the plate, never looked back over there.
So a hit means a run for Chipper, who's down 2 strikes. Fly ball right center field, well hit. Those going to have room. Edgar will tag at second, and he will make third uncontested, and with 2 outs.
It's going to be interesting to see how they pitch to Andrew Jones here. Last night, everything inside till there was a chance for him to drive in runs. Then they went out away from him. He did drive in a run, but he also made a big out in a crucial situation, grounded to third on a ball out away from him. With a left-hander, do you work him carefully, face the guy in the on-deck circle who is a free swinger,
but who's been a little hotter than Andrew? That's the guess you have to make.
That tells you more, I think, about the character and the quality of a hitter than his raw, pure batting average. Does he deliver the goods?
He's a money player. 1 strike pitch to Andrew, and that evens up the count. Add a ball and a strike. Andrew Jones, 9 homers and 33 runs driven in. He's been stuck on 9 homers for a while. Be nice to see him blast one here early tonight. Braves have picked up 2 games in the standings in as many games played. 6 out.
You're always looking for an edge if you're a hitter in the dugout. Watch Matt LaCroix, how he moves to the outside. He bounces up. There's no way, if you're Andrew Jones, you can't see that movement. So what you like a catcher to do if you're pitching is to slide out there. But when you're as big as a barn door there and you make that much movement, even without peeking, you got to see him. You know it's not going to be inside.
2-1. All 3 high, 3 balls and a strike. LaCroix playing because Brian Schneider's out with a hamstring problem.
All right, I hit 143, but doesn't it make sense that if you can see a movement out that way, it's going to be away? If you see no movement, then you look in.
Makes sense to me.
And he did.
Ripped into left, and the Braves lead by a run. Andrew Jones with his 34th run batted in, and O'Connor losing track of Edgar Renteria at first base costs him the game's first run.
Tried to come in on him with our pitch tracks. You could see got it in there pretty well. No, he didn't. He had a good idea. It just didn't work. That ball was down the middle. He may be lucky that's not a 2 on the board.
O'Connor's first inning issues continue here tonight for Jeff Francoeur with 2 outs. Really been the tale of 2 seasons for Jeff at the plate. Remember a 2-for-36 slump to start the year. Since April 25th, Jeff Francoeur hitting .310 for Atlanta. And feasting in that number 5 spot in the batting order for the Braves.
Good spot for him. Because you're almost always going to hit with a runner on base when you get Renteria, Jones, and Jones in front of you. One
ball, 1 strike. And there is that tale of 2 seasons for him. Much more productive the last 12 games. In fact, a 10-game hitting streak entering play tonight. A run on 2 hits for the Braves in the first.
I'm amazed, and I don't want to beat this to death, but I'm amazed at the movement that Matt LaCroix is making. I mean, it's just, well, it's you yank your head off with the headset, but that gives you a good visual.
You're practicing for the wave later on in the game. Your favorite, right?
I hope not. Where'd that come from?
1-1 pitch in the air, right center field, well hit. Church on the run, still going. Look at that ball carried to the wall. Andrew around third is going to score. Francoeur a 2-out double. It's 2-0. Man, did that ball find another gear in right center.
Well, he's hitting a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, but if you throw Jeff Francoeur pitches in the strike zone, he's going to hammer them. Looks like a letter-high breaking ball. That's a lot of pitchers think that if you throw a letter-high breaking ball, the ball comes up there whispering to the hitter, hit me.
Well, it's windy. It's been a windy day in Atlanta, and if you look out of the flags atop the chop house, it's blowing out toward right center field. And that was a Billy Williams at bat. Hit it high and watch it fly, man.
Yeah, that ball got up in the air enough. Anything down below the third deck here, it's not going to be influenced by the wind, but that was up high enough that it got some serious push on it.
So this big crowd in Atlanta liking what they see so far. Why not? 2-0 your score for Brian Jordan. Here's another one of the very happy stories for Atlanta over the last couple of weeks. Brian Jordan's been swinging an outstanding bat for the Braves, but I've been most impressed with his improvements defensively over at first. He looks so much more comfortable and so much more effective defensively over there.
He looks comfortable. And he's had some very veteran, unselfish at bats in the last 5-6 days.
One ball, one strike.
And not many swings like that. See, this is that bat where he can be selfish. There are 2 outs. What's good for Brian Jordan right now is good for the Braves. Nobody out, and we've seen him do this a number of times. Make an effort to hit the ball to the right side. Uh-oh, Brian McCann just called home run. Is he in point?
One ball, one strike. Hanging breaking ball tapped toward third. Zimmerman makes the play. O'Connor's first inning troubles continue. The Braves play the pair and lead it 2-0.
Bravos en Español. Se puede escuchar a los Bravos en Español con el botón SAP de su control remoto. Los narradores son Pete Manzano y Fernando Palacios.
Well, Jorge Sosa, there's your lead. It's 2-0 heading to the Washington second. It'll be Church, Zimmerman, and Matthew LeCroy. Church did not play in last night's game. He's been slumping, just 3 hits in his last 19 turns at the plate. One ball, one strike. And Dye is a starting pitcher. I mean, every starting pitcher has great professional ego. That's why they're in the major leagues. That's how they got here. I'm sure it hurt the pride of Sosa a little bit to be skipped in the rotation by the Braves. So he's got something to prove tonight.
I think so. I think every pitcher who goes out there wants to pitch as well as the guy in front of him. And you also want to gain a measure of respect from what you did last year. And I wouldn't fault him one bit if he thought after what I did last year, yeah, my pride's hurt. Sometimes hurt pride, though, is a great motivator when you're a professional athlete.
He's the last of the Braves starters still healthy without a win. Horacio Ramirez still disabled, of course, but pitching tonight in a rehab stint in Rome. And Sosa tonight looking very sharp, changing speeds very well as he faces the middle of the Washington order.
And let's face it, Todd Pratt has caught every kind of pitcher possible. And I think tonight, well, what he's already doing is mixing Sosa's pitches well. He's thrown everything in his arsenal and mixed them up really well.
Just missed. Full count to Ryan Church. And here's where you do have to keep an eye on Sosa. When he struggles, he has lots of 2-ball, 3-ball counts.
Interesting call right here from Pratt. He's got 2 runs to play with. You want to go right at him? Yep. Get that fastball out away from him, make him put it in play.
And he lost him. Second leadoff man aboard in as many innings for the Nationals, and Ryan Zimmerman's coming up.
sprays it around. If you had that 10 and that 13 in left field, be a dead pull hitter, but now more of a pull hitter. But 16 of his 29 hits have been to the other side.
And he homered here last night. Let's see if he can hit the ball on the ground. He shows bunt, lays down a beauty. Chipper at best hurry. Off balance throw and not in time. Zimmerman legs it out. Chipper did all he could at third base. He was playing deeply, and Zimmerman, with a smart play, has a hit.
I don't know that you could take the ball in your hand and roll it any better down there. Chipper Jones was playing him back, wanted to get a shot at a double play. Can't bunt it any better, can't play it any better. That's just a perfect play. Runs pretty good for a big guy, doesn't he?
He does. And young third basemen in this Eastern Division are plentiful, with Cabrera in Florida, Wilson Betterman for the Braves, Zimmerman, David Wright. Here's Matthew LeCroy out of Belton, South Carolina. And he figures to see plenty of playing time as the Nationals have announced a roster move. Here tonight in Atlanta, they've placed Brian Schneider on the 15-day disabled list and have recalled former Brave Robert Fick from a minor league rehab assignment. First time in Schneider's career he's been disabled. That's a big blow for them.
LeCroy, 17 homers last year and 300 at bats. He's got awesome power. And if you check out his history, he doesn't normally strike out a lot, but the total jumped a little bit last year for some reason.
He's blessed with catcher speed, so you figure ground ball, you've got an excellent chance of turning two. He's 6'2", 230 pounds.
Well, he hit 3 on the ground last night, none of them very solidly.
He's down 2 strikes. Line to third, no other play. That could have been a triple play if Church and Zimmerman hadn't been paying attention. There's your first out for Royce Clayton.
Looked like he was going for the strikeout with a 0-2 breaking ball, got it up in the strike zone. But there's been a man there since the game was invented.
I've heard that before, I think. Here's Clayton. Royce struggling. 7 hits in his last 38 at bats. And only 1 run batted in the last 20 Washington games. They brought him in as insurance in case Christian Guzman struggled. Well, he not only has struggled, he's had shoulder surgery, and he's done for the year in all likelihood for Washington.
There were a number of teams wanted his services, but they all wanted it for 1 year. He loves Arizona. He did a good job last year for Arizona, wanted to stay there. But they have so much young talent in their organization coming up that play that position that they only wanted to give him 1 year and no guarantee he'd play a lot.
No balls and a strike as Sosa again with men on tonight, leading by 2.
Using both sides of the plate. See, I think that's a stat that pitchers should know. You should know who's hot. You should know who's not. You should know who doubles his efforts with runners in scoring position. You should also know who hits righties well, who doesn't hit righties well. It's all there for you. You used to see Greg Maddux. He would want the first copy of the stat sheet, the information sheet that we get for our broadcast. He would want the first copy, and they would have to take copies down. And Maddux would be sitting in his locker before a game going over, okay, this guy. Because you can almost compile a scouting report just from the stats.
And that and all the video that they have now. 4 days in between starts or 5 days in between starts. You can make a lot of good use of that time. In the dirt to Clayton, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's an advantage I'm sure you wish you had in your playing days. All the video that
I would have loved that, because I tried to garner as much information as I could. I wanted a copy of the scouting report. No, I would want that in my hand. I would know what's the guy been doing and go down and read it. Who strikes out a lot? Who walks a lot? Who doesn't walk? Who's hitting with men on base? There's a lot of stuff you can arm yourself with, and in the situation later on in the game will dictate how you use it.
Problem is, can you suffer from information overload?
Some people can.
2-2.
But I think,
look out, that one smacked over the Braves owner's box. That was a rifle shot, folks.
check out Bobby Cox. Hey, that's all right, Skip. It was just in the same park. Skip is another term for skipper, leader, manager, not.
Oh, I know.
Your dad was ducking too over
There's
the radio.
no question. That's why I say you didn't have to explain. It's all right. 2-2 pitch with 2 on, 1 out. And here we go again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. You got the pitcher next. Let's see how Frank Robinson plays it here. Will he turn Church and Zimmerman loose?
Well, he might gamble a little bit. Let's see. Clayton strikes out 24 times in 125 at bats, 1 out of every 5 at bats.
They are going. Clayton puts it in play. That'll keep him out of a double play. And there's out number 2 for O'Connor, the pitcher. And fans, log on to AtlantaBraves.com now to vote on tonight's Sonic Fans Extra. Which rising National League East star will have the most impact on the pennant race? And there are your choices, all of them very good ones, and we look forward to your voting. Any thoughts?
I think the 2 in the right column, Wright and Francoeur, are 2 that you can count on influencing what happens in the East.
I think she's getting her game face on, Don. 2-0 our score. And O'Connor looking for his first hit, takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. That one good enough. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Jack, you were coming to the ballpark. What would she do with the face painting?
I don't think she'd do the face painting. No? She doesn't like that, but she does have them from hand to elbow. She likes the tomahawk and
right, okay,
right on up the arm, and then worries that they're going to come off too quick.
1 ball, 1 strike. Out of play, foul, 1-2.
Actually, what she would rather have is somebody could figure out how to spray paint Jeff Francoeur on her left arm. You know, your dad and Pete have the barbecue joint. Maybe you and I could open a face painting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Huh.
There is a statute of age limitation, however.
I wonder if he lost a bet.
But he's obviously a brave soul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. O'Connor backing up. Nats strand 2 in the second. Jorge Sosa, as he did all last year, Don, base runners all over the place, stranding them early and often, and he's been supported to the tune of 2.
And doing what he did all of last year, making excellent pitches when he's behind in the count and when he's got people out there. I like what he did to the pitcher. Went right after him. This guy's not going to beat you. He struck out 3 of the 6 times coming in. Boom, boom, boom. Here you are. Go sit down.
And speaking of boom, 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 that's been the sound off the bat of Matt Diaz. 9 hits in 13 May at bats and a 5-for-5 outing in Florida. You know, you're having a pretty good night when in the middle of May you go 5-for-5 and put about 125 points on your batting average. Man, that's some good work.
Well, you know you're having a good night too when your career high hits in a game is 3 and you add 2 to it.
Sure.
He's a good middle speed hitter too. That is, if he tries to drop a breaking ball in for a strike or doesn't get that changeup out away from him. But that's a perfect pitch.
So Diaz is retired with his first strikeout of the night. We rejoin our pal Mark Fine.
All right, Chip, interesting doings in Cincinnati. Philly and the Reds. John Lieber perfect through 6 2/3, but Adam Dunn breaks it up. Lieber averages giving up 8 hits a game. He's given up just 1 in this one. Philly leads it 1-0, guys.
How about the effort by Jimmy Rollins to help him hang on to that no-hitter?
Phillies are a dangerous team. I said that early this year. No one was talking about them. All the talk was on the Braves and the Mets, justifiably so. Phillies are only 2 back. Entering play tonight as Todd Pratt quickly down 2 strikes.
Well, they have a manager there, Charlie Manuel, who one of the traits he shares with Bobby Cox is he's not going to get down. He's not going to get too high. He's going to say dadgummit a lot and then just move on. But that ball club was never going to sink to the pits, even though they were not winning.
They did lose Aaron Rowan with a broken nose and some fractured bones near his left eye after he made that great catch in Philadelphia against the wall the other night. He's been disabled. But just when you think that would be a crippling blow for the Phillies, Shane Victorino comes on last night and has a big game at the plate. So the Phillies are for real, folks. That's a good ball club.
Shane Victorino may be the Phillies' Matt Diaz. He's a guy that's bounced around a few organizations and has always been able to play good defense. Now swinging the bat well for the Phillies.
Brisk business tonight at the Chop House. Big crowd here tonight. Braves had over 30,000 last night for fireworks. Beautiful weather here tonight. Very temperate conditions. Might have 31 or 2,000 here for game 2 of this series. And O'Connor with 2 straight swinging strikeouts. And Jorge Sosa comes up with the bases empty. Fans log on to Braves.com. Vote on tonight's Fans Extra and Braves Highlight Extreme. And also check in on fantasy updates. AtlantaBraves.com. Here's Sosa hitting a cool 200 with a home run this year.
You picking a song again tonight?
I think so. Jay, who's the song? John Thompson's picking again. I'm going to say John will pick
Something Cajun.
Beethoven's Fifth.
No.
A whole lot of love from Led Zeppelin.
Love for Three Oranges. Yeah, for Coffee.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Scheherazade.
Be John's speed. Ball and 2 strikes. There's Big Red. Oh, he had to be happy. He finally broke into the win column.
He'll be picking Jimmy C. Newman and Alligator Man.
O'Connor strikes out the side. He's figured things out, but he trails by 2 after 2 here in Atlanta. Honest, I thought it'd be all country from John Thompson tonight.
They probably just said, John, here are your options.
Wow, here's Soriano. He singled on the game's first pitch.
I got to go with Keith Whitley. The most underappreciated country writer of his time because of his untimely death.
1 ball, 1 strike.
So if you come across I know being the big country fan you are, if you come across the best of Keith Whitley.
All right, I'll check it out.
It's worth a buy. There's not a bad song on that album.
Must admit I'm more of a Faith Hill fan than Keith Whitley, but
that's understandable.
Yeah. No offense, Keith, but c'est la vie. 2-0 Atlanta, the score in the 3rd inning. And Soriano's going to tap out to first. Always good to see that guy retired. He's been a pest for Atlanta pitching. And tomorrow, folks, bring your mom to the ballpark and join Major League Baseball and the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation in the Strikeout Challenge to raise awareness for breast cancer research. Log on to MLB.com and look for the pink ribbon for more information on how you can help.
about the dingleberry out west that filed a suit for the promotion that San Diego was putting on because they were giving away the, I think it was San Diego or Anaheim, they were giving away the bags, the tote bags for moms.
Hey, sued him for $4,000, I think.
Yeah. The Altoona Curve has figured it out.
Takes all kinds as Vidro digs in for the second time.
They're having a night called useless loss, was it irritating lawsuits or something like that. I think they're going to give the purses to the men. The women are going to get lukewarm coffee so they won't burn themselves.
That man was.
And children are going to get beach balls on which it will be written, "Do not eat."
Yeah, sure. We will not mention that guy's name on our air, but needless to say, he is the personification of the need for tort reform.
Yeah, that too.
Way upstairs to Vidro, ball 2 from catcher Cam. 2 balls and a strike.
I understand transaction was completed that TBS just bought Court TV. Are we going to be needing that?
I don't know. The way things are in professional sports, it might open up an opportunity for us all.
Vidro's a good hitter, very patient hitter. I remember our saying for years, about 3 years in a row, hey, he's a 4A player. He would tear up Ottawa, play well there, and then come up and fizzle. Then one year he got it right, and he's been here ever since, near the top of the league in doubles every year. Good guy, good player.
And he's aboard with the second Sosa walk of the night. And he's on in front of Nick Johnson, who struck out swinging his first time up. Coming up at Sonic All Access Part 1, we are asked aloud, hey, what's up with Mike Hampton? And it's going to be a busy year off for Mike, coming back from Tommy John surgery. And we will spend a day with Mike as he shows you what he goes through in that grueling rehab stint. Mike hoping to be ready in time for opening day next season for Atlanta.
Rehab is harder than staying in shape. I mean, you work hard at the major league level to stay in shape.
Ground ball, right side, off the glove of Giles, shallow right field. Vidro will reach third, and the Nationals have him at the corners with 1 out.
Vidro got stepped on at second base last night when Andrew Jones was coming back in on a poor throw, and he's still not running 100%. Nick Johnson, we said earlier, sprays it around. Marcus Giles was cheating just a little bit towards second, trying to set up for the double play. Sometimes it ain't how hard you hit him, it's where you hit him.
If he wasn't using Glenn Hubbard's glove, he would have caught that ball, for crying out loud. Just off the end of the leather for Marcus. And the Nationals threatening again in the third. They've already stranded 3 men on base tonight.
Be careful on the first pitch to this guy.
In for a strike.
And he did. Slider.
Mark Fine told you that John Lieber had a no-hitter that Adam Dunn broke up. Phillies at last report were leading that game 1-0. Phillies had a long winning streak snapped, but they've started another win streak. Phillies have won their last 2 and are 2 behind the Mets. And it is still 1-0 in the 8th. Guillen sends that one deep left center field. Will the ballpark hold it? Andrew is under, and he makes the play. Vidro's going to tag and score to cut the Braves lead in half. Guillen just missed his 6th home run.
Well, that's 2 balls that have been influenced by the wind tonight. That one was up high enough that what little breeze there was, and there was a little more at that time. Hanging slider, a little more breeze in the left center field. He thought he got it.
Yep.
Andrew Jones calling the whole way. One of the things you like about Andrew defensively, when he runs, you never see his cap bill bobbing up and down. Runs very level. Anytime your head bobs up and down, that means the ball is going to be moving in your vision too.
Guillen might lead the league in almost home runs. He hit 27 last year, but only 4 in his home ballpark. This year he's hit just 5 home runs for the Washington club. But he does have 17 RBIs now. And with 2 outs, Ryan Church the hitter with Johnson at first.
And some guys, it really plays on their mind too. And you say you're not going to let it, but then you start thinking about it, and sometimes you swing just a little bit harder. Mike Schmidt used to hate the Astrodome, and Astro pitchers wanted him to hammer one 389 feet the first time up, because then he tried to hit one 528 feet.
Well, even if he got frustrated, Mike Schmidt over 500 home runs in his days with the Phillies.
And he got a few of those 500 footers too.
548 for Michael Jack Schmidt. Ground ball, broken bat. Jordan can't get it. Giles can't get it. And around third is Johnson.
What's this?
The throw from Francoeur is not in time. Late call, C.B. Buckner. Johnson got in somehow.
That was a great throw, and Johnson did a little stutter step at second like he was going to decoy him, but you don't decoy Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur's always coming up thinking, throw to third, no wasted effort. A perfect one on the fly, but the right call. Chipper Jones caught the ball down low. Watch where the tag goes. Watch the front foot on the bag. Everything stays on the bag. No tag while he was in the air. Good call by C.B. Buckner. He had his nose right in there on that play.
So the Nationals with first and third, down a run, 2 outs. Here's Zimmerman. He bunted safely. His first time up. 1 ball, no strikes.
John Smoltz said last night he thought he had him set up to elevate a fastball, maybe up around shoulder high, get it by him. It came in about letter high, and this kid showed you he can hit some high fastballs.
He's going to be a star in Washington.
Great performance by that man right there last night. A much needed terrific performance.
And John, really, with a 3-2 record, that's somewhat deceiving. He's pitched exceptionally well this year for Atlanta, and this run of good luck for him came after pitching on 3 days rest against the Mets at the start of that last road trip.
That is such an over-worried thing. All you do is change your preparation.
Fly ball center field. Andrew drifting back, and Sosa's out of the third inning, but a 1-out walk costs him the game's first run for the Nationals. We're in a great perspective, and hopefully Mike Hampton will be able to come back and pitch with so much promise again for Atlanta next year. Giles lines a single to left. Fans, it's time for our know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. If you have a question, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to tbsmailbag@atlantabraves.com, and we invite you to include your name and where you're from.
Or else we can't give you credit for sending it in.
Exactly right. Renteria, the hitter. He singled, stolen a base, and scored the Braves' first run. He shows bunts. What was so disappointing about Hampton hurting himself last year, through 12 games he was throwing the ball just beautifully for the Braves. It was 5-3 with a 3.5 earned run average for Atlanta.
Well, he'd gotten back to movement instead of trying to muscle everything through the strike zone. He was using his breaking ball, sinking the ball away from right-handers.
Finally got Colorado out of his system, it would appear. And so, as you heard in that feature, it sometimes takes 9 to 12 to 15 months for a pitcher to recover from that Tommy John surgery. Mike would maybe be able to pitch some in September, but the Braves wanted nothing of that. They're going to let him miss the entire season, maybe do some work in the offseason and get ready for opening day next year. Runner again goes. Huge jump. LaCroix's throw is not in time. Giles has his 4th stolen base, and he's in scoring position with nobody out.
Somebody's done a great scouting job on O'Connor. See, Giles took off just like who was running earlier. Somebody was running earlier. It was Renteria, I think, and he had a running jump because when he takes one look to first, then goes back to the plate, he doesn't take another look.
Edgar looking for his 15th RBI. What does a base runner look for his visual cues on a play at first base?
You look for tendencies, first of all.
Okay.
Does a guy look there, try to fool you by watching you and then go here, or does he look and then throw there? So you look for tendencies first. But I think anytime you see that front foot break, that's when you commit if you're going to run.
3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, the front foot breaks, and a lot of pitchers who have good pickoffs bring the leg up and can pause on it. His motion is a continuous motion, and he's got the good mechanics to developing a good pickoff move. If he can get to the point where he can bring that front foot up and hang there for a second, it's going to be awfully hard to run on.
2 are on with nobody out for Chipper Jones. First walk for O'Connor tonight. And Chipper flying to right his first time up, has an 11-game hit streak.
That surprises me. Now, if you flip-flop that chart with him as a left-handed hitter, it wouldn't surprise me that he had so many off-field hits. But I am surprised that 19 of his 24 as a right-hander have gone to center and right. I would think him a pull hitter right-handed. So do the Nationals. They're defensing him as a pull hitter.
Zimmerman hugging the line over at third. Clayton normal positioning at short, but still a big hole left side. And he grounds it to short. Clayton will flip to Vidro for 1. And an easy double play puts Giles at third with 2 outs. So Chipper Jones rolls into his 6th double play of the season. And it'll take a 2-out hit from Andrew if the Braves are to get that Washington run back here in the 3rd.
Very veteran pitch made by the youngster. Took a little off the fastball, got it down in a way in a good location. Now sometimes what you see from a young pitcher is you go and don't make the same quality of a pitch to your next hitter. Next hitter can put 2 on the board in 1 swing.
But it's been a while since Andrews hit a home run. Same story for Chipper Jones. Mentioned in the first inning, Andrews stuck on 9. He hasn't hit a home run in his last 67 at bats. Chipper has just 1 home run in his last 53 at bats for Atlanta. Now we're not coming for the 3 and 4 hitters in this Atlanta lineup, but they've got the lead again tonight. 2-1 the score.
Andrew looked like first at bat he was waiting for something to in on him. That time.
That's into the Lexus level to our right. And the count evens a ball and a strike.
Good agility, good hands, good catch, no spill.
That was the key.
Some people prioritize when a ball heads their way.
That would be number 1. No spill. It is for Chicago fans. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is where the Braves, when they've played well and they've done it recently, this is where they've delivered in the last 6 ball games. 80 times they've come up with runners in scoring position. They have hits in 30 of those at bats. I believe that translates to about a .375 batting average.
Plenty to smile about for Atlanta, leading by a run. But 2 strikes on Andrew Jones. It's tipped. Did LaCroix hang on? He did. Andrew thought it was in the dirt. He'll argue with John Hirschbeck, but he will lose that verbal matchup. Night in Atlanta. And a good ball game. Braves up a run. 2 teams that have played a lot of 1-run games this year, and unfortunately for both squads, neither one with much success. LaCroix shoots that ball deep to left field. He's just hit his 2nd home run, and Washington's tied the game. 2-2 our score.
Well, one of the scouting reports I read on LaCroix said if you use the scouting system used by a lot of big league ball clubs, they go all the way up to 8 in their grade, 2 through 8. You will give him an 8 for his power. And when he is selective, he can deliver as he does on this one. Check out the location on our pitch track. Low, middle, in. You know, they say you hear so much pitch down, but pitching down is kneecaps and lower. Thigh high is not down. There are more home runs hit from the kneecaps to the just below the belt than I'll bet you there are letter high.
That's 7 home runs allowed by Sosa now in 26 innings and a third. That's a dangerously high total. And Royce Clayton takes a strike. Back to the mound. Good pitch from Jorge that time. And 1 down.
Let's check out our Aflac trivia question, with your permission. Thank you. Who was the last shortstop to win the National League batting title? Muse on that for a while. We'll get the answer a little bit later on. Thank you. They got a new duck.
They didn't like the way the other one walked across the screen.
Walk like a penguin.
Yeah. Here's O'Connor. He takes a strike. So he's got new life. And a 2-2 game. Pratt took some punishment. And John Hirschbeck will retrieve that foul ball, walk another one out to Sosa, and give another man wearing the shin guard some time to gather himself.
A little professional courtesy. Umpires and catchers look out for each other. Just giving your catcher a little time, he said. Take your time going back to the mound.
Wow, that's a retro lid. Retro jersey, too. Is that would that be a pork pie hat? Is that what those are called?
I think that's what it is. It is. I can't think of too many people that'd be a good look on. Bing Crosby, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, Pratt's got to take a little stroll out. He is not really 100%, I'll bet you. And yeah, there comes Jeff Porter. Here comes Bobby Cox. I'm not sure where that got him. I'm not sure we want to know where that got him, but it got him solidly. He's smiling through the pain.
Well, Todd's nickname is Tank, but a few dents in the armor.
Oh, that looked like it got him on the inside. See if it gets him on the inside of the left leg. Oh, yes. Right, may have been right on the ankle bone. See the protection. There is a lot of it, but it doesn't cover everything.
That's a tough job. And it'll cut down on Todd's blazing speed tonight. Let's hope that doesn't hurt. A 2-strike pitch off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes your count.
He's perfect in the stolen base category this year. Huh?
You could win a lot of friendly wagers as Sosa takes care of O'Connor. Who has more steals, Francoeur or Todd Pratt? Let's send it to Mark Fine.
He'll know.
Or how about Greg Maddux? Yeah, you heard me right. Maddux pitched well today for the Cubs, and here it is, 8th stolen base of his career. 7 1/3 innings of work for him, but it was spoiled. 3-1 Cubs. 9th inning, Mike Piazza at the plate with 2 on. Gone. Off Ryan Dempster, that's the game winner. San Diego 4-3 over the Cubbies, guys.
Padres are roasting. They're 12 out of 13 in wins. Cubs have lost 11 of 12. And Maddux will have to wait another day to move up into a tie with my partner and Nolan Ryan.
Pretty good company for all of us to be in. That's get a warm fuzzy every time I see that group. And I've said it before, and I mean it. It is not so much the number, but when you're able to just kind of sit back and reflect on it, it's the names that you see surrounding you.
No balls, 2 strikes to Soriano. And Sosa takes care of him. But the LeCroy homer on the first pitch of the 4th inning ties it up. 2-2 our score.
Shortstop to win the National League batting title. It was not Al Weiss. It was Dick Groat. Good guy, a good player. 1960 with the Pirates.
1 ball, no strikes to Jeff Francoeur, who doubled home the second Braves run of the night. Atlanta got 2 in the first and only 1 hit since, as O'Connor has settled in tonight.
Baby.
And ball 2 to Jeff.
That's the pitch Jeff chased earlier in the year when he was in the slump, and now by laying off a couple of pitches, look what he has. A hitter's count, 2-0. Most pitchers will throw a strike instead of trying to get him to chase something.
That one good enough. 2 balls and a strike.
A pitcher's strike, laid off of that. There's some schools of thought that think that against most pitchers you're going to get 1 pitch to handle every at bat.
He didn't swing. 3 balls and a strike. Jim Butka at the audio controls tonight. You can hear every ball that misses the strike zone scratching the surface by home plate. You can hear Bobby Cox shouting encouragement as he always does from the Braves dugout.
And we're doing it out without buried microphones too. That way to go, Jim.
Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He may have backwards pitched Francoeur there. All the breaking balls, 3-1, an obvious fastball count. Sometimes you can outthink yourself. Hey, he's not going to give me one. He gave him one. Looks like he's going to give him another.
He fought it off. That's a major league defensive stay alive hack.
And that was a 3-2 breaking ball. 3-1 fastball, 3-2 breaking ball. That's pitching backwards.
Ryan Jordan, Matt Diaz to follow. John Thompson will pitch here tomorrow night. Or tomorrow afternoon as Francoeur pops it back toward us. LeCroy can't find it. Won't have a play in any event. Full count. Jeff Francoeur. Don't forget tomorrow, Mother's Day Sunday. Don't forget Mom. And if you bring your mom to the ballpark tomorrow, you should get a carnation. Chance to see the Braves and the Nationals here at Turner Field. In the air to right. Ian, though, is going to have a play. And he will make it for out number 1. Busy night for our pal Mark Fine. What do you have for us, Mark?
Well, Chip, it's a busy night in the bigs tonight. We got Arizona and St. Louis. Scott Rowland facing Claudio Vargas, and bam, that one's gone. 3-run shot, 4-1 at that point. How about a little Albert Pujols for you? Wow, gets all that one. Solo shot for him. 19 on the season for Pujols. 5-1 St. Louis.
Best hitter in the National League.
Can't get him out.
Best hitter in the National League.
When do you start to Barry Bonds him?
Why haven't you already started?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got to make Rowland or Edmonds beat me if I'm playing the Cardinals, and they're very capable of doing that. But goodness gracious, 19 home runs, and it's May 13th. Jordan up, Diaz next in a tie game at 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bryant pops that up. Nick Johnson.
Tough time to see right now.
Vidro, though, makes the good play. 2 out. Starting to cloud up here in Atlanta. I wonder if there's some storm clouds at Glenn Diamond's house tonight.
Never any storm clouds there.
Well, what do you think of a guy, Don, that for Mother's Day?
Are you good? Is Don getting ready to slip a noose around his neck?
No. But do you know what Glenn got Nancy for Mother's Day?
An electric shaver.
Close enough. But wrong. What are you talking about? Lined into right field. Guillen makes the play.
Thank goodness it was a 3 up and 3 down for us.
Turner Field, it's Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. 2-2 game after 4 tonight.
Now to the pressing matter.
Yeah.
My second guess was going to be a lawnmower.
No.
Okay.
No. Glenn, our executive producer or producer of Braves baseball, when Jay Hoover is not filling in on our TBS Extra games, Glenn went deep into the pocket and got his lovely wife Nancy for Mother's Day, the mother of his 2 beautiful children.
And
one of whom is
a wonderful lady.
Yeah, one of Glenn's children, forcing him to pay out-of-state tuition, but that's another story. However,
You're making a mini series out of this.
And Vidro's cooperating. I appreciate that. 2 balls and a strike. Glenn got Nancy, knowing that the forecast tomorrow is for spotty showers. A car wash for Mother's Day. Now, I mean, as Vidro shoots that to right, Jeff will play it on a hop. Only Glenn would think of a car wash for his wife, which she did want, by the way.
Well, I mean, was it a complete car wash, though, including the foam, the wax, the undercarriage,
knowing Glenn,
rub the tires?
One of those deals where you pay the extra $5 at the pump and just go through in the automatic thing. That's my guess. But only Glenn would tell us, rather foolishly, that that was the gift for Mother's Day.
Knowing how we keep secrets.
Yes, exactly right.
Remember, it is the TBS Extra.
Right. Whether you like it or not. Johnson looks at a fastball high. 1 ball, no strike. So, Glenn, from all of us at the ballpark tonight.
Bear down.
Big technical foul, pal. Big T. And you know all about those. 2-2 game as Dick Johnson facing Sosa's. Big inning for Jorge tonight. Right through the middle for Washington.
Well, you know, you can look at that in a positive way if you want to. At least he didn't buy her a garden hose and a chamois.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah, right. Oh.
I hope we don't let the game get in the way of our having fun.
Oh. Glenn, when the schedule for the second half comes out, be kind. 2 balls and a strike.
Wonder how many emails Jay Hoover has gotten from our bosses already. Three from Glenn, I know.
2 balls and a strike. But I think Glenn realizes that there's really no such thing as bad publicity. Count is 2-2. The score is 2-2.
Back to the ball game.
Yes.
Vidro is not running real well, but you've got a guy at the plate. If he wanted to do something, you can treat Nick Johnson like a second place hitter. He has that good of a bat control, or you can utilize him that way, though he's in a power spot, the third.
Fisted into center field. That'll be caught by Andrew. 1 is out for Washington, and our copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Atlanta Braves. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of our game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. McGeehan just missed a homer last time up. He's flat out twice. He does have an RBI, his 17th.
Like LaCroix, you treat him with the same respect on the first pitch.
What do you think this Washington team's going to do once the ownership thing is done, which is going to happen? I don't think there are any surprises with regards to that, but you know Stan Kasten and his pattern and what he did with this Braves franchise for so many years. Washington entering play tonight, 12-24. They've got a pretty good team that just hasn't translated into a lot of wins. Are they going to trade a guy like Guillen? Would they be able to trade a guy like Soriano or Livan Hernandez and start to restock the farm system, which right now is somewhat barren?
Well, I think the Stan is going to hire a general manager or keep a general manager, but I think the second most important hire he's going to make, and watching him here, is going to be whoever runs the minor league system, scouting in the minor leagues. And it would not surprise me if they stay down at a level where it looks like it's going to be hard to catch up, that you see them stockpiling. And perhaps that was a poor choice of words, but trading a couple of those veterans. Guillen's contract is up, I believe, at the end of this year. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some other teams come calling. Once those other teams get an idea, when he gets his lieutenants in place, as to what direction they're going to go. But Stan Kasten loves homegrown products.
Sure. And with their new stadium situation settled, and hopefully for them ready in 2009, the Nationals might have to take a couple of steps backward to take a couple of giant steps forward when they're ready to move into their new ballpark.
But I think that's going to give you 3 drafts prior to then. You could conceivably draft, well, they did well with Zimmerman, they did well with Cordero.
Right.
So you could conceivably draft well enough this year to have some kids there in 2 years already in there playing.
Popped into shallow center. Giles going out. Andrew coming in. And an easy play. And you can hasten that process because I think a guy like Guillen, a guy like Soriano, what would the Mets pay to get a guy like Livan Hernandez, knowing the trouble they have at the back end of their rotation? You can get some guys that are at AA or AAA right now for those players, unload a lot of salary, and speed up that transformation in Washington.
A lot of questions to be answered. What's going to be the situation with Frank Robinson? Will he be coming back? He's already said that he would not object to a move to the front office if it were a meaningful position. And he has held a number of meaningful positions with other ball clubs and with Major League Baseball itself. Is he going to continue to manage? There's a lot of, it's going to be a lot of I wonder what's, I think, probably starting next week.
But I don't think it's an angst-ridden.
No.
I don't know what. I think it's an exciting I don't know what for the Washington team. That was a big thing for that franchise to finally have ownership settled to the degree that it is now.
What good is going to happen to us next?
Right. But for that man, Jim Bowden, what's going to happen next remains to be seen.
I think he and Tony Tavares have done a good job in an impossible situation. Tony Siegel, Kevin Eulich, all the people up there have done a terrific job. Barry Larkin, Bob Boone, assistants to the GM, have done a good job. If I were an aspiring general manager or an aspiring farm director, a young guy, I would hand carry my resume to their front door.
Oh, sure. Ball and 2 strikes. It's even to Ryan Church. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a great market, our capital city. Very knowledgeable, passionate baseball fans who had 2 cracks at baseball, lost them both, now have the 3rd shot with this Washington franchise. They're going to have a new beautiful ballpark in a couple of years. A lot to be excited about in D.C. And down on strikes goes Church. Leadoff single wasted by the Nationals in a 2-2 game.
The very thought of you.
Research, locate, even contact a dealer. Cars.com. Find the right car for you. And by Lamisil AT. Lamisil AT. Go on.
Beautiful night in Atlanta. Let's see if the Braves can break the deadlock with Todd Pratt starting it off. This kid O'Connor, after a shaky first, has been as good as advertised. He's given up just 1 hit to Atlanta. He's struck out 4 in the last 3 innings.
I think there were 2 crucial at-bats for him in this ball game. In the first inning, he got Brian Jordan on a terrific pitch to end the first inning. And then after a Giles single and a walk to Renteria, made a nasty pitch to Chipper Jones to get a 6-4-3 double play. Those are the 2 pitches that have kept this at a 2-2 game.
And that's just what Todd doesn't need after a foul ball off the ankle to have to hop around over the baseball at the plate.
I wonder if he had to show an ID to John Holland, the visiting clubhouse man, to get in.
In the air, right center field, well hit. Long run for Church. Still going. That ball carries out of the ballpark. Todd Pratt's first homer as a Brave puts Atlanta in front.
mentioned earlier, one of the few nights where the wind really is affecting the ball. He drove that ball hard to right center field. Take a look at our pitch tracks at the location. Up and out away from him. That's the get out of here zone. If you're the catcher, you want to reach out and grab that before it gets to the plate. He hit it hard, but the wind blowing slightly to right center got just enough on it to push it over. Normal night, that's probably a step shy of the fence, maybe on the warning track.
Earlier this year, you might recall, Brian McCann and Jorge Sosa hit back-to-back home runs. Todd Pratt has gone deep. Let's see if Sosa can hit his second homer of the year. He leads by a run now. Two balls and a strike. That is one tough hombre, Todd Pratt. Todd, in his career now, 46 major league home runs. And it's 3-2 to the Braves pitcher, Jorge Sosa. Out of play to the right. Sosa stays alive. Phillies beat the Reds 2-0 tonight. John Lieber started that game for the Phillies. They are hotter than hot. That puts a little pressure on the Mets tonight. The Mets are in Milwaukee. They were leading 3-2 at last report. And Sosa's aboard with a walk.
Let's check out our know-how question of the game built by the Home Depot. It comes from Carl Austin, who listens to us, watches us up in Slaughters, Kentucky. Do the players who are called up for temporary assignment get paid differently than when they're in the minor leagues? Carl, yes, they do. What they get is a prorated amount of the major league minimum, which is what, 320 this year, 320,000?
Thereabouts, 320, 340.
So they break it down, and the number of times or the number of days that they are here, they get paid a prorated version of that. Let's say it's 180 into that. That'll be about what, 1,800 bucks a day. Then if you're here 30 days, you'll get that per day. For those days that you're here, you go back to the minors, you have an agreed upon salary for your year in the minor leagues. Good question. We haven't been asked that before, so thank you very much.
Marcus with a hit and 2 trips tonight. He's also stolen a base. Braves are in front by a run. There's nobody out. He bunts and foul for a strike. Giles this year for Atlanta with 1 sacrifice.
Bunting again.
That one too high. A ball and a strike.
I think this is pretty darn good play. You got the National League's leading hitter waiting in the on-deck circle. You got a guy who can run over at first. You get him to second. Get up the out with Giles to get a runner in scoring position.
O'Connor again ready, and the 1-1 pitch. No bunt that time, and he missed badly. 2 balls and a strike.
Connor's starting to get the ball up this inning. His best success has come in the ballgame on pitches down around the bottom of the strike zone.
Randy St. Clair in the lower left of your screen, taking a close look at his young left-handed pitcher. In the air to right. Guillen on the run. Cannot get there. Funny thing about O'Connor this year, Entering tonight's start, Don, in 17 innings, he had not allowed a single leadoff man to hit safely. But in 2 of the last 3 innings, the Braves have hit safely. Giles with a leadoff hit in the 3rd, and Pratt with that wind-aided home run to right center.
And only some terrific pitching in the 3rd inning kept that from causing him damage.
And Giles works a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
If it is a go ahead and run, a steal sign for Sosa, that message would have to be hand carried over there by Glenn Hubbard. I doubt many pitchers know what the steal sign is.
Johnson doesn't think he's going to go. He's playing behind Jorge at first. Full count pitch with nobody out. A run in already for the Braves. In the air, right center field. That ball tailing away from Church. Still going, and he makes a fine catch. Nice running catch in center from Ryan Church to rob Giles of a double. 1 away.
Had to go a long way, too, because they were not playing Giles to hit the ball that way. Got to pitch down the middle. Church is a good outfielder. One of those guys that glides under the ball. Looks like he's running with no effort.
Here's Edgar Renteria. A 3.51 average. He was outguessed. No balls and a strike. Mets build their lead now 5-2 over the Brewers. That game in the 6th inning up in Milwaukee. After a promising start for the Brewers, they're running into some bad injury luck. Both Ben Sheets and Toma Oka out of their starting rotation with some arm problems. Jeremy Gonzalez starting for the Mets tonight. Renteria again to center. Church frozen. Now comes sliding in. Makes another good play. 2 out. And Chipper Jones will hit. Coming up in Sonic All Access Part 2. Mike Hampton goes for a swim. See how the swimming pool rehab of Mike Hampton's been going. That's in Sonic All Access Part 2. Chipper's flying out, and he's hitting to a double play. Again, a hit streak of 11 games riding into tonight's play. Yankees were winners tonight, 4-3 over Oakland. Baltimore beat Kansas City 11-1.
How about them Tigers?
What a story that is. Jim Leyland leading Cleveland 2-0 tonight.
Good pitching, too.
Jim Leyland said this is a team that needs an identity. They've found one in the American League Central. Two balls and a strike. Long inning for O'Connor. It started with a Pratt homer, then a Sosa walk, but 2 flyouts to center have aided the young lefty's cause here.
Craig Robinson would like to get him through this inning because his spot is 4th up in the top of the 6th. I think he'd be very contented with what he's done to this point.
Broken bat pop. Easy play at short. Chipper Jones sawed off, but Todd Pratt's first homer as a Brave makes it a 3-2 score after 5. And Mike Hampton talking about the hitting prowess of John Thompson so far this year for the Braves. And John at the plate hitting .267. That's tops on the Braves staff, and he's driven home 4 runs, and he'll get a chance to improve on that tomorrow. As Ryan Zimmerman leads off for the Nationals. 6th inning, Braves by a run now.
John Roush starting to throw in the Nationals bullpen.
He's the unmistakable right-handed pitcher for Washington. He is taller than tall, folks. One ball, 2 strikes.
I think he's got Zimmerman guessing. base hit his first time up, fly to center. He's taken a, if you go up looking first pitch fastball, he got one in the inner half and took it. You know what that means, don't you? Bounce it. No doubt what Todd Pratt wants. That's a great visual if you're a pitcher. You know, that's just to remind you, if you calling a breaking ball with 2 strikes, you want it down. But if you go into your windup and that's the first thing you see or the last thing you see before you turn it loose, it's a great visual.
Fastball away with a 2-2 pitch. Didn't get it there. Full count. That's the pitch that's hurt Sosa a couple of times as a starter. A 2-strike breaking ball that was too good to hit.
Yeah, a spiral.
And he's at 84 pitches. The Braves bullpen is going to spring into action here. Opposition hitting .310 against Sosa with 2 strikes, and Zimmerman shoots that to right center field. Brancourt, though, is going to make the play. He got away with a pitch, 1 out. Matthew LeCroy coming up. He's 1 for 2 with a homer. Let's look at the Nationals. Box score brought to you by Napa. Mentioned Brian Schneider disabled by the Nationals tonight. Robert Fick will be ready to go tomorrow for them. He's on the disabled list, or at least will come off the disabled list now. And so LeCroy will get a couple of extra weeks work.
This is a game that's reminiscent of some of the good ball games pitched by Sosa last year. 4 of the 5 innings prior to this inning had seen the Nationals get the leadoff man on, so he's pitched out of the stretch a lot tonight. He's yet to have a 1-2-3 inning.
And this is reminiscent of most of his starts during a 13-3 year last year for Atlanta. Pratt out for a chat with Sosa. 1 ball, 1 strike to LeCroy.
One of the reasons there's still only 2 on the board, even with all their base runners, they're only 3 for 13 with men on base. I think that was a guess swing.
He guessed wrong. As you see Ray and McBride loosening.
Good to have McKay McBride back up and in the bullpen. I think there's a chance he's going to be something special.
Another shot to right center, but Andrews going to track it down. 2 outs. Royce Clayton to hit, but first we join Mark Fine again.
Yeah, Chip, kind of a surprise it took us this long to get to the Mets. Mets and Brewers, and already up 3-2, bases loaded for Jose Valentin. Dana Eveland in the rotation for Milwaukee. They've got injuries in their rotation. 6-2 now. Mets lead at bottom of the 6th, guys.
Thank you very much, Mark. Here's Royce Clayton. He has yet to get the ball out of the infield. 7 hits in his last 40 at-bats. A lot of folks in baseball wonder if the Mets are going to make a deal to improve that rotation behind Glavine, Pedro Martinez, and Steve Traxel. Brian Bannister's hurt. Victor Zambrano done for the year as Clayton shoots that in the right field corner. Jeff over quickly. Clayton on his way to second will dive in safely. So a 2-out double for Royce Clayton, their shortstop. And now Frank Robinson, a decision. Will he let O'Connor continue here? And the answer apparently yes.
Well, he's had Rosh throwing. Maybe if there was 1 out, he might let him hit. Or he might not let him hit. Might use a pinch hitter with 1 out.
And I'm not sure if Fick is here tonight with Schneider going on the disabled list, so he may be a man short on the bench, as we are only in the 6th inning tonight. And O'Connor rewards him with a base hit to left. Here comes Clayton around third. Diaz throw is off target. The pitcher with a base hit ties the game. First major league hit for O'Connor and an RBI as well. It's 3-3.
Just reached out and touched. Fastball away. You saw the visual from Todd Pratt again. Had the mitt on the ground. He wanted it down. Even guys that aren't real good hitters, when you get a fastball up, can guide it somewhere. He wasn't trying to hit it to left. He was just trying to make contact.
And make contact he did. So O'Connor helps himself. And we've got a tie game again at 3.
Speaking of Robert Fick, he just arrived in the dugout. He was walked out and was high-fiving his teammates as he was walking up and down. So he may have gotten here just in time to not be used and to watch the pitcher tie the game. There he is.
No balls and a strike to Soriano.
Braves have been wearing him out on fastballs out away from him.
Don't make a mistake on the inner half, though. We saw
no.
that up in Washington.
1 for 4 last night. 1 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts. 6 home runs in his last 29 at bats, though, off of Braves pitching. But they've changed their pattern a little bit on him.
2-strike pitch. In the air, center field deep. Andrew as far as he can go, and the Nationals are in front. With 2 outs, a double, a single by the pitcher, and a 2-run bomb to straightaway center has Washington in front 5-3.
When we show you this replay, watch where Todd Pratt sets up and where he wants the ball. Remember, we were saying they'd been wearing him out away from the belt down. Check it out on our pitch track. This is going to be at the letters and right down the middle. Look where Todd Pratt is, way out there. I'm not sure you can throw one too high for Soriano to go up the ladder after it.
So twice tonight, Sosa missed his spot badly. LeCroy took him out. Soriano takes him out. And now Bobby Cox will take out Jorge Sosa after 5 innings and 2/3. Nationals have their first lead, and we rejoin Mark Fine.
Thanks, Chip. Let's check in on the Phillies and the Reds. We showed you John Lieber earlier. Let's take a little bit more of a look at this great outing. Striking out Adam Dunn to end the 4th. Then facing Edwin Encarnacion to end the 5th. Then how about Jason LaRue? 1-0 to end the 6th. He had a no-hitter. Perfect game for 6 2/3. How about David Bell with a little offense for him? The RBI double brings home Ryan Howard. We go to that 7th inning now. Adam Dunn, here's the hit that broke up the perfect game. Base hit up the middle off Lieber. Gave up 2 hits, struck out 6 on the night. 2 on, 2 outs in the 9th. Tom Gordon striking out Dunn. Saw a lot of action in this highlight, didn't he, to end the game? Final 2-0 Phillies. How big was that for Lieber? Well, gives up an average of 8 hits a game, so great outing for him. Phillies have won 12 of their last 13. We'll get it back out to the Braves and the Nats after this.
Ken Ray on to face Jose Vidro. The Nationals, with 3 runs in the 6th, have taken the lead. And a flare into left center field is going to drop. 4 straight Washington hits after 2 out.
And a couple of balls, well, the 2 balls that were outs were hit very solidly. You just can't throw a ball too high for him to swing at. We were talking about before, as you get a look at Ken Ray there, they were wearing him out below, from thighs to knees on the outer part of the plate. He just couldn't connect, but you see his eyes get big when he sees anything up around the letters.
So 4 home runs for Soriano this year against Atlanta pitching. Sosa's given up 8 home runs now in 29 innings of work. That is a dangerously high total. Here's Nick Johnson. A strike from Ray. 0-1 your count.
And his stuff is too good to have that happen. It comes down to location, as we've seen tonight. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is, but if you can locate as he did early when he got in jams with his stuff, nobody's going to hurt him. So far tonight, the managerial move of the game
might belong to Frank Robinson, keeping O'Connor in the game instead of pinch hitting for him. He came through with a 2-out RBI single, his first big league hit and RBI. That tied the game. O'Connor's given up 1 run, 2 hits in his last 4 innings pitched, so he's trying to buy some time for that Washington bullpen, a bullpen that's been used an awful lot. Off-speed pitch pulled to second, and that should do it. Washington scores 3 times, 4 hits with 2 outs. Middle of the 6th inning. Braves are now down 5-3. Got to get their hitting shoes on now, down a couple of runs. And there's a start. Andrew line drive left field. Soriano played that into a base hit. A 2-hit night for Andrew Jones and a good start for the Braves in the 6th. And Don, let's take a look at tonight's John Deere leaderboard.
RBIs in May. Wouldn't be surprised, I'll bet you, to see Jeff Francoeur right there near the top of the list, tied with Ryan Howard. That's 4 pretty good young run producers right there. What, Albert Pujols is the KGO veteran at what, 26? Maybe?
Before it's all said and done, no matter what Barry Bonds does or doesn't do, you're going to be looking at Andrew Jones, you're going to be looking at A-Rod, and Albert Pujols looking at 700+ home runs. And I think Frank Robinson's not going to allow O'Connor to pitch himself into further difficulty here. He goes 5 innings plus, 3 runs earned so far. Andrew Jones will be his responsibility. And Mike O'Connor, looking for his 3rd win of the season, departs tonight's ball game. Again, we join Mark Fine.
All right, thanks very much, Chip. Welcome.
Nationals. He leaves with a 2-run lead, and he'll turn it over to the Washington bullpen. The first man out of the chute, big, tall right-hander John Roush, who's appearing in his 20th game already for the Washington Ball Club. This their 37th game of the season. Roush 0-1 with a 171 earned run average, 19 strikeouts, only 5 walks in 21 innings pitched. And he's got right-hander after right-hander stacked up in this Braves lineup tonight. Francoeur has doubled home a run in 2 trips tonight. And off-speed pitch fooled Francoeur. Strike 1 to the Braves right fielder. Roush 6'11", 260 out of Louisville, Kentucky. Former White Sox farmhand.
And in case Bobby Cox wants Adam LaRoche maybe to pinch hit for Brian Jordan, they've got Mike Stanton throwing in the bullpen.
Roush, part of the gold medal winning U.S. team in the 2000 Olympics. Struck out 21.
See, I don't get Roush's throwing over to first so much. Andrew Jones doesn't run that much, and you've got 2 runs to play with. The guy you ought to worry about is the guy at the plate. If you're wrong at first, it costs you 90 feet. If you're wrong at the plate, you got a tie ball game.
Breaking ball, chopped right side. Vidro gets there. Good play, and got him by a quarter step. A fine play by Vidro, ranging toward the foul line, and he got Francoeur for out number 1.
And as we replay this, watch Nick Johnson on the backside of this play. You're right, a long way to go for Vidro, an off-balance throw. Johnson didn't commit till he saw where the ball was going. That gave the stretch down the right field line. Watch where the big guy stretches. It's good play on both ends.
And a good call by Wally Bell, the first base umpire. Runner at second for Brian Jordan, who's 0 for 2 in the game tonight. Nationals had Mike Stanton up and throwing in their bullpen. As O'Connor can do nothing but Watch and see if Roush can continue his stellar start to the 2006 season. Out of play to the right. Quickly, 2 strikes. Roush, originally a 3rd round pick by the White Sox back in 1999. He and Gary Majeski came from Chicago for Carl Everett back in 2004. The 0-2 pitch to Jordan. Struck him out. Boy, nasty pitch. Runner at second, 2 down now.
Great.
And coming up in Sonic Fans Extra, we'll ask you, the fans, which rising National League East star will have the most impact on the pennant race. That's coming up a little bit later on tonight. 2 outs, 5-3 game, Washington in front. Mets leading Milwaukee 6-4. Phillies beat the Reds 2-0. John Lieber flirted with a perfect game and a no-hitter, settled for the win. Towards short, diving play, Clayton. He saves a run. Diaz hit it up the middle, and Royce Clayton speared it, and O'Connor in line to win it. Always win the pennant, but seems like they always win the National League East, and there is your voting.
And if we had done the same poll at Shea Stadium, the results would have been exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to be good. He's barely scratched the surface, as has David Wright.
7th inning now. Guillen's ready to go for Washington. 0-for-2 with an RBI sacrifice fly tonight. 1 ball, no strikes to the Nationals right fielder, hitting just .231, however, this year. Two balls, no strikes. Check swing. There's a break. Jordan makes a fine play. There's out number 1. Braves keeping an eye on the scoreboard around the National League tonight, keeping their eye obviously on the Nationals, but also, Don, taking a long look at Rome, where Horacio Ramirez and Kelly Johnson are rehabbing tonight.
Worked into the 5th inning, 5 hits, a couple of runs, a walk, and a strikeout. I'm sure that they had him on a pitch count, probably a pretty strict one, and he reached it. But all in all, I would guess everybody would be pleased with that. You don't really, when you're rehabbing, sure, you want to get people out, but all you want to do is throw free and easy, no discomfort, and make your pitches.
Church looks at a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Braves will probably want Horacio to make one more start. If he can get to 6 innings or so, they'd be very happy, and then make a decision as to whether or not to activate him. If that happens, obviously there'll be a ripple effect on the staff. But that will shake itself out in due time here. It's 5-3 Washington in front. Kelly Johnson a little farther away. Tonight his first game of live action in a long time. He's had some elbow problems, as you know. Has not had any surgery on his throwing elbow. But it has been bothering him. Doesn't hurt him to hit, but hurts him to throw a little bit. So we'll see how he fares after tonight's game.
And last year it bothered him a little bit, and it was just the opposite. It hurt him to hit last year, but didn't hurt him to throw.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Church, who has a hit in 3 plate appearances tonight. Braves led 2-0, 2-1, 3-2. Now trail 5-3. They have been out hit 10-6. Another shot off Todd Pratt behind the plate. Well, he'll need to Soak in the whirlpool tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That may have also skipped off him and got a piece of John Hirsch back.
I know Brian McCann's not saying, "Boy, I'm glad that's not me tonight." Full count from Ken Ray.
We had Brian McCann with a question and answer out in the plaza, and you know, he always asks players, young players, what did you have planned if you didn't turn into a professional ball player? He said, I didn't have any other plans.
One track mind, huh? So Church aboard with a 1-out walk, and let's take a look again at the Washington box score, brought to you by Roundup Extended Control. Top of the order, bottom of the order, outstanding for him. Ian, the only man not to hit safely, but he does have an RBI tonight. Zimmerman's hit in the second was a bunt. What would you have done if you didn't pitch in the big leagues and end up in Cooperstown?
I would have gone to military academy.
Really?
But they kept swinging, missing curveballs.
Aha. High and away to Zimmerman. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gone to either the Coast Guard Academy or the Merchant Marine Academy.
Never would have guessed that. Ahoy, matey. Ray looking for a ground ball here with 1 out. And that'll be out of play to the right side.
I told that to my uncle who was in the Navy forever. He was in the Navy forever, and he said, Coast Guard, huh? Said, you only wanted to be in that branch of the service that never sails in water over neck deep. I haven't told that to any of my Coast Guard friends till tonight.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that one good enough. 1-2 your count.
You know, it's easy for us to talk about offensive streaks, and we talked about guys with hitting streaks, but you know, Ray's on a streak of his own. His last 11 1/3 innings, he hasn't allowed a run. This is a feel-good story. You know, a kid from right here in Roswell, Georgia, who I swear has pitched everywhere around and just wouldn't quit. Now pitching successfully at home.
Took a little off, and Zimmerman stays alive. Last pitched in 1999 in the big leagues with Kansas City. First appearance came on, struck out Barry Bonds out on the first road trip of the season. And Ray's been a very steady performer out in that Braves bullpen. He, Oscar Villarreal, Lance Cormier, who's still injured for Atlanta but feeling better. Those 3 guys have been very dependable out there for Bobby Cox. Fisted into center field. Andrews going to have to play that on a couple of hops. And stopping at second, Ryan Church. Left side of the bullpen with McBride, Mike Remlinger. That's been good too. Braves have to be a little concerned, quite honestly, about Chris Reitsma. Chris has not pitched well, frankly, since last August in the closer's role.
But that's one of those things we were talking about before the game. He's done it before. You know he can do it, and he has the stuff to do it. You sometimes wonder with a guy like him who has 3 exceptional pitches, that maybe is 1 too many. You know, sometimes when you have 3, you try to figure out, well, I got to work them all 3 in. He has an overpowering changeup, and what I mean by that, he has one of those like Andy Messersmith had. They could tell you it's coming.
Still
Here comes changeup, and you can't hit it. Like Trevor Hoffman. You know he's going to throw it, but what are you going to do with it? He also has
to LaCroix, who's homer tonight.
Exceptional curveball, a fastball in the 90s, so all the artillery is there. But kind of like Jorge Sosa, it's been a situation where it seems like 1 mistake has been costly to it. When you're a closer, you can hardly afford 1 mistake.
Quickly 2 strikes. And it can't help either. I mean, look, since John Smoltz has gone back into the rotation, it's really, I don't want to say created a vacuum in the Braves bullpen, but it's a very different bullpen than it was when John was the closer. Dan Kolb experiment didn't work last year. The Rietsma experiment for a 5-week period was outstanding. He was the pitcher of the month last July with his good work.
Well, right now, I think the Braves are trying to build the bullpen backwards. You mentioned the fine work of Ray, Villarreal, some of the other guys there. Normally, you build from 9th back. Well, he's got to feel, does Bobby Cox, that he's got pretty well got 6 and 7 covered.
But after that,
you know, till you get 9 established and locked in, 8 is your wild card inning. What are you going to do about 8?
1-2 to the Washington catcher. And LeCroy pops it up. Shallow right center. Who wants it? It'll be Jeff Francoeur. 2 down. Matt Diaz robbed by the man at the plate, Royce Clayton, last half inning.
He's doubled and scored, but this may be the play that the Nationals will remember. He went a long way, smothered it. We're sitting here watching it unfold in front of us. I don't know what you were thinking. I was thinking he's going to save the run, but he's not going to get the out. He did both.
And he's also doubled and scored tonight. I don't know if Washington wants him to be at least a threat at the plate, but he's paid big dividends with his glove all year. Has Royce Clayton. He's got 2 on, 2 out. 1 RBI in the last 21 games for Washington. He'd love to extend their lead, which now stands at 5-3.
Well, I'll bet you for Royce Clayton, and he's hit everywhere in the lineup in his career, I'll bet you he would rather be hitting 2nd than 8th. But you have a ready-made man there who's one of the best in the league in Jose Vidro, so kind of by default he has to end up further down in the batting order.
If they trade Soriano, who's going to lead off? As you see, the on-deck hitter for the Nationals, Marlon Anderson. Church is led off for him. One pitch to Royce Clayton. Again to the right side, foul. Clayton was the man that followed Ozzie Smith at shortstop in St. Louis. That is not an easy job, or was an easy job. Ozzie, one of the most beloved players in the history of that great Cardinal franchise.
But he's put together a good major league career.
Oh, absolutely. Played in a lot of places, and there are 2 ways to look at it. Either a lot of people don't want you or a lot of people do. And I think the latter is much more applicable for Royce Clayton. Two balls, 2 strikes from Kenny Ray.
Looking to have a good year this year and kind of motivated a little bit more. He and his wife had triplets, I believe, born October 29th last year.
And I think he lives down the street from Louis Gonzalez of the Diamondbacks,
who also had triplets.
Yeah.
And he had already been coaching him how to juggle, literally.
It's more like how not to sleep. A little low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitcher spot due up second in the last of the 7th. That's why Bobby Cox would like to see Ray take care of Clayton here and not necessitate a move to the bullpen, with the left hand hitting Marlon Anderson waiting next.
Going 3-2 with 2 outs gives the advantage to the trailing base runner, because he can cheat a little bit and be off and running. An extra base hit gives him about a 3-4 step advantage.
Runners go, and Clayton fouls it to the right. Same 2 teams tomorrow afternoon. Final game of the series. Braves will send John Thompson to the mound. John with a 1-2 record, but a 188 earned run average. Tony Armas will be pitching for the Nationals. He's 3-2 and will make his 8th start.
Now, what was that John Thompson batting average again?
267.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to remember that.
3-2. Runners again go. Chopped up the middle. Renteria is at the second base bag, and he got his man. Ken Ray with a 30-pitch stint tonight. It's 5-3 Washington. Pete Orr is going to pinch hit for the Braves in the last of our 7th inning. Todd Pratt's night 1 for 2 with a home run, and Roush continues on for the Nationals. Pete has been the Braves' busiest pinch hitter, and he's got a shot at beating this out. Johnson got him with a tag. Good play, Nick Johnson. Pete Orr tried to slide under, but he's retired on a bang-bang play. 1 out.
If Johnson hesitates for 1 click, he doesn't get him. This ball is in the no man's land, but Johnson goes right after it. He was playing in a little bit. He hesitated for just a second to see what Roush was going to do, but went for it, and those long arms and long legs came in handy.
So Orr now 5 out of 15 in a pinch, and Wilson Benemit's going to come on for Ken Ray. Benemit as a pinch hitter, 2 for 8 this year with a home run. Mike Stanton continues to loosen in the Washington bullpen. 5-3 Nationals in front. 4 hits with 2 outs, 3 runs in the 6th off Jorge Sosa has told the tale tonight. Mike O'Connor, a big night for the Nationals. 5 innings, 3 runs, his first big league hit and big league RBI in that 6th inning. Frank Robinson's decision to allow him to hit for himself may have been the biggest move of this game. One ball, 2 strikes.
When you saw Frank Robinson in the dugout there, you had to look at his lieutenant, his right-hand man, Eddie Rodriguez, who loves computers, loves matchup, keeps all the charts. I say he'll get up early in the morning and start figuring out matchups. There he goes to the clipboard now. But he's a guy that really loves that part of the game, the numbers, the stats, the matchups.
2-2. Clayton had him played perfectly. Handles the in-between high. And 2 are out for Marcus Giles as we take a peek at our Kingsford game summary tonight. Braves had leads of 2-1, 3-2 on Washington with that 3 spot in the 6th inning. A big blow, Soriano on a pitch that Jorge Sosa missed his target by good foot.
Maybe more, because Todd Pratt had the mitt down on the ground away, and it kind of came back on him letter high right down the middle.
Giles out of play to the right. Marcus 1 for 3 in the game tonight. Nationals trying to even up this series. Braves trying to get to within 2 games of 500. They'll have to come back late to do it tonight. Rockies lead in Houston 2-1 in the 9th as Giles sprays that to right center field. Church dives, can't get it. Guillen's going to try to back it up. Church played that into a 2-base hit with 2 outs. He keeps it in front. Marcus probably has to hold it first, and it keeps a force play in effect. Instead, you bring up one of the Braves' hottest hitters in an RBI situation with 2 out.
When it came off the bat, Church had to think he had a shot at getting this, but the slicing action on it kept it drifting away from him. You could see visually there the drift, couldn't get to it. Guillen was just a little bit tardy backing him up. I think they were both going for the ball. Usually somebody commits to the ball, somebody commits to the backup role.
Now Randy St. Clair, the Washington pitching coach, out to talk it over with Roush. As the Braves have right-hand hitting Edgar Renteria up, then switch hitting Chipper Jones. Crazy day in baseball today. John Lieber, we mentioned, nearly a perfect game, nearly a no-hitter. Won tonight in Cincinnati. The San Diego Padres are roasting hot. 12 out of 13 they have won now in the West. And the Cubs lose another heartbreaker at home, this time in the 9th inning on a Mike Piazza home run.
And if you were able to read and listen to the conversations in San Diego when they were struggling, to a man down there, they were saying it's going to be all right. We're just putting the pieces together. It's going to be all right. And boy, were they right to this point.
Renteria looked slow, did not swing on the appeal. 1 ball, no strikes. Every manager is his own personality and manages his team the way he's going to do it. But I can't think of a manager who handles his personnel and manages the ship more like Bobby Cox than Bruce Bochy of San Diego.
I don't think he's really gotten the respect and appreciation he should have garnered for the work he's done there.
He's taken him to the World Series.
Players love playing for him. He has a catcher's eye view of the game.
Yeah.
Having been a catcher, it's all out there.
Never hear him complain about small market woes or what they don't have payroll wise, and year after year
Works well with his general manager, Kevin Tower.
So that San Diego club now 21-16, waiting to see if Colorado wins tonight and see if they'll maintain a tie in the West.
You would be far-fetched and hard-pressed to find a better man on the Braves roster to have up in a situation like this than Edgar Renteria. His average is .348 right now, but with 2 out and men in scoring position, hitting over .450.
Got a hitter's count.
He just finds a way to put the ball in play.
2 balls and a strike. 5-3 Nationals. Still a lot of time left in this game, though. 2-2.
Oh yeah, let me throw one more feel-good stat in there if you're a Braves fan. He's a .314 hitter with 2 strikes on him. He now has 2 strikes on him.
Some players are National League players. Some players are American League players. Last year, an aberration for Renteria in Boston. A pitch.
And he lays off good pitches like that. That's the pitch that if you're Roush, you want him to put it in play. Hit that ball. Because what are you going to do with it?
And Roush's fate in this game depends on the outcome of this pitch. They might make Chipper hit from the right side. Let's see.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to breaking ball here.
He did, and Renteria took it. So the go-ahead run comes to the plate for Atlanta. And will it be Roush against Chipper left-handed, or will they go into that very busy bullpen? Coming up in Sonic Braves Highlight Extreme, find out which song from John Thompson's selection you, the fans, voted to hear. And Frank Robinson has made a vote. He's going to keep Chipper Jones hitting, one would presume, from the right side tonight. He had Mike Stanton up and throwing in that bullpen, and I believe it's going to be Stanton coming in. That's the case. 5-3. Atlanta is trailing, but tying runs are on here in the 7th. And again, we join the always well-attired Mark Fine. Well, Don, it's the Braves' turn now to have a chance in the ball game. 2 on with 2 out. And Chipper Jones is coming up. They'll keep him hitting from the right side in this ball game. Chipper 0 for 3. And with an 11-game hit streak, he'll face his former mate, Mike Stanton.
Only 6 at-bats he's had against Stanton, 2 hits in 6 tries.
John Roush, an inning and 2/3 of 1-hit relief, but a double and a walk have set things up for the Braves with 2 men out. And there's the power outage for the Jones boys. The negative of that is, quite obviously, it's not the kind of production you want from those 2 men right now. The positive thing is they're going to break out at some point. The only question when. Braves are hoping it'll be right here.
Well, they've done it before. This is only the 18th at bat for Chipper Jones from the right side. 2 RBIs, no extra base hits from this side.
Chipper at 302.
You're going to get a breaking ball from Mike Stanton somewhere in this.
Giles is going to steal third, and Chipper takes a strike. Second steal of the night for Marcus. And that puts a little more pressure now on Matthew LeCroy with that breaking ball you talked about. If it skips up there, the Braves might get a 2-out gift here in the 7th inning.
Somewhere that line in the scouting report or observations on video said Stanton doesn't check you twice at second.
Very short lead, Renteria at first. Braves runners are at the corners now with 2 out. Last year, Washington's bullpen was phenomenal. They worked a lot of innings. They were very busy again this year.
4th most in baseball this year.
And here we are, middle of May. That's going to be an interesting area for.
Careful.
That's the guy they want to get to. Chad Cordero right there. They have a pretty good pitcher in his own right in their bullpen coach, John Wetland.
Chipper Jones' last right-handed home run last September. It was September, October, Hal. October 2nd against Dontrell Willis of the Marlins. Two balls and a strike. Well, if you're Mike Stanton, what do you do now?
Got to go with another breaking ball. If you're Chipper Jones, you look for it, fly open, and try to put as much hurt on it as you can.
5-3 Nationals. Braves with a great chance, albeit with 2 outs. A 3-1 pitch from Mike Stanton. And he just got back. Wow, what a play. And what a time for Stanton to break out the pickoff move.
He's dead if the throw is anywhere other than where it was, because he caught him leaning towards second.
Yeah, if Stanton has his choice, he doesn't want to make this move. He doesn't want to make this pitch.
Well, anytime you can get it out without going toward the plate, you're better off. Much shorter lead now for Renteria.
3 balls and a strike. Again to first, and again Edgar with a little hesitation. He hasn't picked up Stanton very well.
I wouldn't be surprised for a backdoor breaking ball, and hoping that Chipper Jones will put it in play.
Bases are loaded with 2 outs. So Stanton's job was to face Chipper Jones right-handed. They will not allow him to face Andrew Jones with 2 outs. So again, the Washington bullpen very busy, and so too Mark Fine.
Yeah.
Well, during that great Mark Fine update, Frank Robinson came out and started barking at John Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire, and he's been jaw to jaw, nose to nose now for about 2 minutes.
I wonder if this is about something Frank wanted to do or thought that he had done. And the reason I say that is that in the 8th inning, the pitcher's spot is the first batter. I wonder if he thought maybe of making a double switch, had made the point or thought he had made it. I have no idea what it was about, but he kept pointing back to the mound, And I really wonder if either A, he had in his mind to make a double switch, or B, he thought he had pointed to the home plate umpire, John Hirschbeck. You have to go to him first and alert him first.
So into the game comes Gary Majeski. That last column, the one that's interesting. 12 walks, 12 strikeouts, and a 4.0 ERA. Andrew Jones bags full. Slider strike, 0-1.
He'll throw you a few of those.
Andrews faced him 3 times, has 0 hits against Majeski. The bags are full of his mates. Giles, Renteria, Chipper Jones in the 7th. Andrew, a 2-hit night. Good cut. He wishes he had that one back. 0-2.
That's as good a fastball as we've seen from Majeski. If you're a radar gun fan, it had 95 written by it. If you're a fan of movement, it was coming in. If you like location, it was on his fist. So he was 3 for 3 in those categories.
Outfield playing him to pull and very deep. 0-2. He didn't offer it that pitch. Last couple of weeks, that's the ball that Andrew has really done a much better job of avoiding taking a wild hack at.
I think you've got to go 3-2 before you throw him a strike and try to move that slider just a little bit closer to the plate. But if you throw him a strike prior to 3-2, it's the mistake. You know, there was an old term we used to say, and maybe still used, you got to waste the pitch. I think that's wrong. That's an improper term. You want to make a pitch off the plate, but with a purpose. You don't, waste is not what you want to do. You want hopefully make it close enough he'll go fishing for it, but not in the strike zone where he could handle it.
Breaking ball, fly ball, center field, but Church is there, and he makes the play. Braves load him up, but cannot tie the game after 7.
I was very surprised.
And disappointed, I can tell.
Yeah.
New battery. Oscar Villarreal on to pitch. Brian McCann to catch. And Majeski to hit. Which version did you see of Villarreal's numbers? Are you a fan of the Run DMC walk this way or the original Aerosmith walk this way? It's a very important question.
The heck are you talking about?
It's music, man. Fouled to the right side. 0-2. Music is my middle name, you know.
Your father would name you Music, yeah. Chip Music Gary. Run CMC.
There you go. 5-3 Washington in front. And Villarreal takes care of Majeski. 1 away. Still not sure if Frank Robinson's in the game or not. Have not heard. He was ejected.
Kicked out. I just wonder, because remember, he got to the mound and then turned and said something to John Hirschbeck and kind of pointed, and I will wonder, maybe we can find out tomorrow. I wonder if he didn't get there and didn't think they're going to double switch. But once you get to the mound, you cannot make that double switch. You must immediately go to the home plate umpire on the way out.
Here's Soriano. He's the villain tonight. 2 hits. And the big blow in that 6th inning against Jorge Sosa, an inning that began so innocently for Atlanta's defense. 2 outs. Clayton doubled. O'Connor, the pitcher, served a single through the hole on the left side for his first big league hit in RBI to tie the game. Then Soriano took it out straight away center.
Top of the letters, middle of the strike zone. Watch these 3 pitches. A couple of good ones. Took it for a strike. That's a slider. That's a perfect pitch. That's where Todd Pratt wants it. Did you see Pratt tap the ground with his mitt? And you could see the disappointment on Todd Pratt's face and in his body language when that pitch wasn't down.
And so for Sosa in 6 starts, 3 or 4 missed opportunities that have really cost him. Soriano down on strikes as Villarreal dropped down. 2 down.
If you're a pitcher, you have to love Todd Pratt. You have to love Brian McCann because they take pitching personally. Not do they take catching personally, but they feel personally responsible for the well-being of their pitchers. They're the pitcher's best friend. And a lot of guys, for a lot of catchers, okay, they take their catching, they're grabbing the ball, throwing the ball, blocking the ball seriously, but they don't consider themselves a pitcher's best friend. And for some other catchers, it's just something to do between turns at bat.
Here's Vidro. He's on base for the 13th time in the last 14 Washington games. Very busy night as you see his line score tonight. Back half of the Braves order coming up in the 8th. Francoeur, Jordan Diaz scheduled. And Vidro. Did it get out of the way?
No, it got him.
Yep.
And it got him on the foot that Andrew Jones stepped on last night. Wants to come in on him. That may have been a slider, cut fastball, slider. just below the calf.
So a painful way to reach base for the 4th time tonight. It brings up Nick Johnson, who's 1 for 4 in the game. The great thing about baseball, no matter what a team's record is, on any given night, they can win. Saw it in Florida, seeing it tonight with Washington. Still, again, 2 innings left for the Braves, but down 5-3 against a very good bullpen. 1 ball, no strikes. I think that's the part of this particular sport that the casual fan doesn't really understand. They think, hey, you look at the records, while the Braves isn't that much better than Washington, they think, hey, this one's in the win column. It doesn't work that way.
And what you're giving there is a very logical reason why counting on the pitch count doesn't make that much sense, because every day is a different game. Every effort by a pitcher is different. Every outing is different.
Quality of pitches more than number of pitches.
Yeah, the energy you expend, it's all different.
Out of play to the left. One thing's very similar about these two teams. They have both played a lot of 1- and 2-run games. Atlanta this year has played 16 one-run games in their 35 played. Entering tonight's play, they're 5-11. They've played 7 2-run games and are 4-3. Washington 2-9 in one-run games, 1-4 in 2-run games. One hopper to short. Johnson made it a close play, but the Nats are done in the 8th. Jeff Francoeur to lead it off for Atlanta, down 5-3. Extra presented by Sonic. Getting late tonight. Braves down 2 in the 8th. Majeski will continue on. He'll face Jeff Francoeur first. First pitch, little flare, shallow right, but it's going to hang up for a field. 1 man down for Atlanta. Defensively, a switch for the Nationals. Ryan Church moves from center field to left. Marlon Byrd takes over in center. And the Braves will go to their bench now with Adam LaRoche. Brian Jordan 0 for 3 in his start tonight. And LaRoche hitting .220. Takes a strike. He's 1 for 5 in his career against Gary Majeski.
0 for 4 coming off the bench. Braves hitting right around .220 with their pinch hitters.
That'll improve as LaRoche shoots a single into right field. So again, Atlanta will bring the tying run to the plate. Matt Diaz, the hitter, 0 for 3, robbed of a hit by Royce Clayton. And how big has that play turned out to be tonight? That came in the 6th with Andrew Jones at second base. As you look at the Braves box score, brought to you by Wagner.
Chad Cordero, who worked 2 innings Thursday night in that game in Cincinnati, is already warming up. One more gets on, I wouldn't be surprised to see him into this one early.
Late swing by Diaz, 0-1 your count. Braves have Ryan Langerhans left on the bench. Nothing in 2. Brian McCann will hit next for the Braves. And if anybody else reaches, it might be where you see Mr. Langerhans as Cordero loosens in the Washington pen. Nationals by 2, 5-3. Matt Diaz has opened some eyes, I think, in Atlanta with his ability to hit with 2 strikes.
Didn't take long for him to win the favor and the attention of Bobby Cox in spring training either, did it?
No, he made a huge impression. There's an example of what he can do. He spoils a lot of pitches. He shortens his stroke. He'll take an awkward swing, but fight a ball off, hit it the other way. And what's amazing to me about Diaz, he hit nearly 375 for the Royals organization last year, but hardly got a chance to play at the big league level.
Well, he's shown you now that he's going to spoil your breaking ball. Here's where if you throw him another one for a strike, he's had a look at one and he's timed it. A lot of pitchers go back to fastballs.
They did. That one back up the middle, broken bat. Vidro at the bag makes a good play. A double play to end the Atlanta eighth. It works for the bottom of the ninth inning, and let's hope he can concentrate on some outs in the top half of this frame. Our thanks to Terry Pendleton for wearing the microphone tonight. As you see the defensive changes for the Braves. On pitch now, Chris Rietsma to face Guillen, Church, and Zimmerman. Rough year starting for Rietsma. 11 runs, 20 hits in 13 innings and a third for the Braves closer. And a strike.
You know, you wonder when you have a veteran like Chris Rietsma with exceptional stuff. I'm sure Roger McDowell, Bobby Cox, I'm sure they've tried everything. But remember, Rietsma was a starting pitcher before. And he's one of the few closers when they come in to pitch tonight that he still pitches out of the windup. It may be a ridiculous thing, but I wonder if psychologically working out the stretch might maybe a little bit of a jump start. You know, you're clutching at straws when things aren't, when the results aren't matching the stuff.
And maybe limiting the repertoire to 2 pitches, as you suggested earlier, might be something to try. But look, 94-mile-an-hour fastball is more than good enough.
With the life.
Yeah. Big curveball, excellent changeup.
Good curveball.
But tough to keep all 3 of those pitches on time. Look how late Guillen swung at that 95-mile-an-hour pitch. But the Braves would like to get him going. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the last of the ninth, Brian McCann will lead off. Ryan Langerhans will come on and pinch hit for Rietsma. Then the top of the order, Giles, Renteria, Chipper, Andrew, we hope, against Chad Cordero, we presume. There's a strike 3. Guillen frozen. Good start for Rietsma. And again, we join Mark Fine.
Milwaukee and the Mets tied at 8 after back-to-back homers by Milwaukee in the 8th. And top of the ninth, Paul Lo Duca off Derek Turnbow. First home run he's given up this season. Mets now lead it 9-8, guys.
Wow, what a comeback mark for the Brewers. They were down big in that ball game. And Paul Lo Duca very quietly going about his business for that New York team. Everybody talks about Beltran, obviously, and David Wright and Carlos Delgado.
As they should.
But
those are the glamour boys.
But the glue of that team might be the man behind the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Phillies already won tonight. Mets are back in front 9-8 in the ninth. Here it's 5-3 Washington in the middle game of 3 this weekend in Atlanta. There's the change to Church. In the air, deeply hit, center field. Andrew going back at the wall, just enough room. Church gave it a ride, but his prayer wasn't answered. 2 outs for Zimmerman. Bunt single and a conventional single for Zimmerman tonight.
I don't think Rietzman's thrown his curveball yet.
Maybe he's trying to go fastball changeup. Something we'll have to ask Roger McDowell tomorrow.
You might be right. Here's the change. Watch Brian McCann before he calls the sign. You know, you're not just back there gazing at the scenery and seeing where your friends are. He'll watch the hitter's feet, where he stands, think about it, and then flashes the sign.
Another change. That one a beauty. That kid might be an all-star this year.
See? Checking him out. Where's he standing? Settling in. Now here's what I want us to throw.
Ball two. Interesting pronoun you used. Not him, but us.
Yeah.
To throw.
And that's that pitcher-catcher relationship. All great pitching staffs have had a catcher that thinks with them, feels with them, works with them. It's called a battery.
Off Rietzman's leg. Can anybody make a play? Chipper can't. And Zimmerman has a 3-hit night. Let's see if Rietzman's all right. That ball caught him pretty flush.
I think he's trying to not show any pain, but he's limping. Let's see what it gets. There's the first curveball. Oh, my. Inside of the left ankle on the bone.
When it rains, it pours. Now Bobby Cox will join Jim Lovell, the fine Braves assistant trainer.
Watch it hit right there on the bone, just above the shoe. He's going to try to throw some pitches. That's the landing leg for him. Chris, one of those guys that falls across toward first when he throws and left that landing leg vulnerable as he fell over there.
But he's a big hockey fan, as you know.
Skate save.
Ken Dryden-esque. But it's an infield hit for Zimmerman, and Matthew LeCroy coming up. He's had a good night, hit his second home run of the season. Is 1 for 4 for Washington. Good live fastball. Again, you're right, Don. No curveballs from Rietzman tonight.
Only one. The one that was hit back up the middle that hit him is the only curveball he's thrown. His changeup has been really good. Throw to first. Almost all the actions that have to do with other than the pitch selection itself anymore is called from the dugout.
They wanted that ball away. Chipper Jones with a backhanded flip to second forces Zimmerman. Last chance for the Braves in the ninth. TNT. See Kira Sedgwick in the closer. Mondays at 9/8 Central starting June 12th. Kira Sedgwick.
And the closer there, she's not a pitcher. She just wraps up old cases.
Yes. It's an outstanding series. She's an outstanding actress.
Terrific actress.
And here is Chad Cordero, the man they call the Chief. He'll try to close it off and close it down for O'Connor tonight as he goes for his 4th save of the year.
Sweet Lou Johnson, who played for years with the Cubs and the Dodgers and was a hero in '65, has a saying for everything. He would look at Chad Cordero right now as we looked out, and he said, this kid is hatting up, because he can hat up out there. Watch how he pulls it down so low you can hardly see his eyes. He'll throw you some strikes.
Swing and a drive, deep right field. Guillen will turn. It's a 1-run game. This kid, Brian McCann, is something special.
There's so much to like about him. I like the way he runs the bases after a homer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jumps on a first pitch fastball. Remember we were saying he'll throw you strikes. Good level cut. The ball's got some get out of here on it. But after he hits it, he takes off and runs the bases. There's something about guys who hit homers and loiter on the bases. You remember them.
There's a bullet right back through the middle, and Cordero's given up 2 rockets in as many pitches. Tying run on in the 9th. Top of the order for Atlanta. Nobody out.
Another first pitch fastball right down Broadway. Look out. And the Chief has gotten his feathers ruffled here early.
He might want to bend the bill of the cap. It might improve his luck against Atlanta's offense. They have smoked him here in the 9th inning. And now Marcus Giles, the hitter, he's got 2 hits in the game. He's singled, he's doubled, he's stolen 2 bases in 4 trips.
Got to be wondering if Randy St. Clair isn't saying we might want to try something other than a fastball on the first pitch.
Phillies already won tonight. Brewers are up in the 9th inning, trailing 9-8. Here it's 5-4 Washington. And Marcus Giles, the hitter. He hits the first pitch into left field. They guessed right. Clayton was moving to cover the second base bag. Giles had a huge hole. And now the Braves in business.
And the pitch wasn't a fastball. It was a breaking ball that made this work perfectly because Clayton is covering. Left side vacant. A breaking ball is easier to pull than a fastball. Played right into the trap.
So with 2 on, nobody out,
You bunt him over.
Renteria handles the bat as well as anybody in baseball.
Even if you take the bat out of the hands of Chipper Jones, you butt him over here, I think.
For then, assuming it's successful, and they put Chipper on.
You've got Andrew Jones and Jeff Francoeur coming up behind you.
And all you don't want is a ground ball in that situation.
That's right.
So let's see if Renteria is bunting, and if so, if he can get it down here. Renteria is bunting. Cordero, he's going to go to third and got his man. Oh, what a laser beam throw from Cordero. So that forces Langerhans. There are 2 on, 1 out now.
This looked like a bunt that was going to get better results. You just got to give Cordero credit for hustling over there, fielding the ball in the turn so that shortened the throw to third base. That's a good play. You practice those all spring. You practice them till you're sick of them, but you practice them till it becomes instinctive.
So Chipper Jones hits 0 for 3. He has an 11-game hit streak on the line, lifetime. Good luck against Cordero. 3 for 10 with a homer. 1 run, Washington game. And what's left of this 37,040 numbered crowd on its feet tonight.
I'm a little surprised that the Nationals aren't playing Chipper Jones more to pull, taking the hole away with Vidro. That's an off-speed pitch to start him, and especially if you're going to throw him off-speed pitches.
I was going to say that if you're going to throw him off-speed pitches, they better be like that. Otherwise, they'll hook it in the right center, and this game will end.
What a lot of clubs do is try to turn the ball into Chipper Jones, get him to hit it on the ground, but to the right side. There's a huge hole over there.
Ball 2. Guillen has the best arm in the outfield. He's in right. Bird can throw okay in center. Church is in left now. Remember, the Nationals took Soriano out of this game for defensive purposes. And if this game goes to the 10th, he'd be due up third. He's out of the ball game. Made him throw a strike. A pitcher's pitch.
That's right. He didn't put it in play. Still got 2 more to play with.
The first 4 hitters saw 4 pitches from Cordero. This is the 4th pitch to Chipper Jones in the inning. Braves have 2 on, 1 in, 1 out. Breaking ball, bounce to the right side. Vidro knocks it down. That ball gets away, but not far enough. An infield hit loads him up.
A double play if they're playing him the bull. And Chipper Jones did just what Chad Cordero wanted him to do. Rolled over a backdoor breaking ball. That's a perfect pitch. But Vidro was cheating so far up the middle. I just think that is not real good defensive positioning.
But a heck of a play by Vidro after the ball trickled away to hustle it to the plate just in case Giles thought about coming home. Now Andrews coming up. A fly ball here you figure would tie the game. A hit could win the game and a strike. Missed inside. No place to put him. A ball and a strike.
I don't think they're going to give him a pitch inside to hit. If they do, it's a mistake. That's a showcase pitch. I think they want him to put something in play out away from him.
Breaking ball. 1-2. Andrew Jones, as you saw, 4 out of 12 with a couple of home runs against Cordero.
See what Terry Pendleton's doing? Pardon me for interrupting you. Terry Pendleton whistling and was pointing to right field.
Shorten up, take it the other way.
Put the ball the other way.
Swing and a high fly ball, left field line. Will it stay fair? That ball is well fouled.
Got away with a breaking ball. He's lucky the Braves weren't off to the races in a 4 spot on the board. Wanted to go down and away. Oh. We've seen some pitches tonight that missed by 1.5 feet where the pitcher wasn't so lucky.
Again, Andrew with 2 strikes. Strike 3 inside corner. Gutsy pitch from Cordero. He outguessed him. And it's up to Francoeur if the Braves are to tie it or win it.
Check it out on Pitch Tracks here. He did set this up perfectly. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. Now fastball. Looked like a little cutter that was right there on the edge. That's some gutsy pitching. Now for Francoeur, you know you want to win it. Don't be over anxious. You'll get a pitch to handle if you're just patient. You don't have to put the first one in play.
He took it low, and that's what Cordero was thinking. Youngster wanting to end it quickly. Threw him one well out of the zone. Jeff doubled home a run in the first.
11 out of his last 26 with runners in scoring position.
Bases loaded, but 2 out. Breaking ball, fly ball, mounted, deep left field. That ball is out of here. A grand slam ends it for Atlanta. First, a grand slam wins it in the 9th, and the Braves are 17-19, and the Nationals again can only wonder what could have been as they have lost their 10th series in the last 12 played against Atlanta.
TBS Extra, brought to you by The Home Depot. Proud to help build the 2006 Major League Baseball season. The Home Depot, You can do it. We can help. By Sonic. Not just good, Sonic good. By Netscape. Sign up today for $9.95 and get free web accelerator when you stay for 12 months. And by Armor All. Go ahead, stare.
Welcome back to Atlanta. What a ball game. And you've been watching Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. And an historic at bat done for Jeff Francoeur in the ninth tonight.
He laid off the pitcher's pitch. The first one was a ball. Came back with another breaking ball right down there where he could handle it. There wasn't any doubt about that one. And I know one thing. He was going to go to college somewhere and play football. They wouldn't have liked him as a punter. No hang time on that baby. And a great at bat. Let's check out the totals. Braves with a comeback win. 8 runs, 13 hits, no errors. They would strand 7 men. The Nationals, 5 runs, a dozen hits, no errors. They would strand 11, and that will haunt them. Good inning by Chris Reitsma. He gets the win. Not a good inning by Cordero. He loses it. And that's the first win for the Braves after they come into the 9th inning trailing. Home run derby tonight. There they are for Francoeur. First ever grand slam. It was a let's take it to the house slam. What an exciting ball game.
And the Braves keep pace in the East pending the outcome of the Mets and Milwaukee ball game tonight. And we're back at it tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. John Thompson to the mound to take on Tony Armas of the Nationals. Our next Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic is Saturday, May 20th. The Braves will be in the desert to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks at 9:30 Eastern. Up next on TBS on the East Coast, it's The Last Boy Scout. Out west, it's Home Improvement. For Don Sutton and our entire crew, Chip Carey from Turner Field. What a night. A game-winning grand slam ends it. Braves 6, Washington 5.